What's good, y'all?
What's going on, Tube? Nathan Higgins, what's going on? You the first person in here. Shout out to you. Shout out to T-Ray. What's going on? Kassan, what's up? Brooklyn. Okay. We was out in Brooklyn early. Nathan Higgins, what's going on? You the first person in here. Shout out to you. Yeah, April 15th.
Shout out to the guys, man. Shout out to Fly Rye. Shout out to my boy Mouse Jones. We did the Guys Next Door podcast. Super dope dudes, man.
Yeah.
Had a good time, man. So shout out to them. Check out the Guys Next Door podcast. Follow them. Stream. Good brothers right there, man.
Solid.
Yes.
Super solid.
Yes. So we'll get into this, but before we start, make some announcements. Gotta give a shout out to the town, my boy Fred. Big game yesterday in 914. Shout out to Ferris, shout out to Higgs, shout out to Oopie, shout out to Stick, shout out to the whole Ferris. Really dope. Had probably 2,000 people out there easily. What's up, man? Got the Georgetown jersey on?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing my Cal Watson thing today. How y'all feeling?
Yeah. We was giving above the rim vibes last night, you know.
Bombers championship.
Yeah. Go do your thing, man. Gold bottles for gold winners.
That's it, man.
Legendary.
Nah, very much so, man. But yeah, shout out to the guys, man. That was dope. Shout out to Rod Strickland who was there. Shout out to Jadakiss who was there. Shout out to everybody, man. Always love New York City street ball is a culture within itself. If you never experienced it, you've got to experience it at some point, especially if you're a sports fan, especially if you're a basketball fan. It's just dope, man. Shout out to all the tournaments, Gersh. Shout out to Dykeman. Shout out to Ferris. Shout out to Zone 6. They had a championship too. Shout out to Rucker. So yeah, man, it's one of these things, man, that it's unique. I've never seen anything like New York City street ball.
It's different
in the summertime, and it's a vibe, man. So
I can imagine somebody outside looking in on like, yo, is that safe? It's the safest place you're gonna be, man. Everybody wants to see the end of the game. Everybody wants to be entertained by the game. And it's like you get to see people you haven't seen in years. Like people just pull up to basketball like in the summer, like nothing else. So you got to come to New York City and experience. I know other places do it. Shout out to California. Shout out to LA. I know Philly. Shout out to Philly. We know that other places have basketball tournaments. Some of those are indoor. Most of them are indoor. Nothing like outside basketball tournaments in the summer in New York City.
We might have something planned, actually.
Top secret, bro.
One city at a time. If you got to listen, man, we can rattle off all next year.
Yeah.
One at a time.
One announcement a week.
Oh man!
It is August 15th. It is officially Nipsey Hussle Day in LA. So we want to give a warm piece of gratitude to his family. I saw Lauren London got up and spoke today. Shout out to the whole All Money In team. And shout out to the book club. You know, we were covering Nipsey for the past couple of weeks, and kind of the finality of the book club was yesterday. So I joined it for first time in a few weeks because it's so important. And the fact that it was his birthday today just made it even better. So it is officially Nipsey Hussle Day. The marathon continues through all of us, not just us. I'm speaking about everybody that's listening and everybody's watching us right now. We all have a piece to play in this puzzle. And so we're going to do our part, and everybody got to make sure they do those. So we got Crenshaw, we got Victory Lap, and we got the Marathon Continue Pumas up there today. A great loss, not only to our community, but the world. Rest in peace to Nip the Great.
Absolutely. Rest in peace to the king.
Rest in peace to Nip Hussle. And congratulations to his family and his loved ones for that Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Very, very big, man. So rest in peace to Nip, one of our biggest inspirations and motivations for sure. Anything else I want to say? Before we start, definitely. Oh, big shout out to my brother too, who he actually lost in the championship game for the high school division, but that was a good game as well. So shout out to Haas. And shout out to Kiss, man. That was my first time actually meeting Kiss, which is crazy because
Kid's cool.
Yeah, it's
Was
like
he elevated in the elevated state, or was he good?
nah, Kid's super cool. You know, he was
Yeah.
like, he's like, yo, y'all blowing up. Y'all blowing up.
Get out of here.
Yeah, but that's crazy. That was my first time meeting him. You figured
I didn't even know that.
that's almost impossible that took so long for that to happen.
That's wild.
That is pretty wild, bro.
Yeah.
He don't forget nothing though. When I saw him in LA at Rant's thing, he like, yo, you turn to Hollywood, you hit me back. I'm like, I didn't even know you really wanted to do nothing. My bad.
Yeah.
He don't forget nothing.
He's a good dude, man. Our kids go to school together, so I see him all the time. At drop off, I saw him at graduation. I didn't know that's first time.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, we had a good time. We were chopping up again. Basketball brings everything together. So he was at the game watching it with us.
Yeah,
kicking with us in the little section, the 914 elite section.
Yeah.
And he definitely fits the criteria.
Yeah, good dude, man. So we got a big episode for EYL this week. Dope entrepreneur out of Philly. I want to pronounce the clothing brand correctly. Bunji, I believe it's correct. It's pronounced
Bunji.
Yeah,
I think Apalache.
Bunji Apalache. Super.
It's a fire name.
Yeah, it's a super dope high end clothing brand. I believe he's gonna be
Albertini. I'm sorry,
Albertini. He's the first black shoe designer that's gonna be in Neiman Markets, right?
Yeah,
ever. So his thing is a high end fashion. It's like, you know, Prada or Louis Vuitton, stuff like that, and it's really dope. I've actually wore his shoes. I wore them at an Invest Fest weekend. I wore his shirt. at Martha's Vineyard when we was with TIA Craft. So I actually have wore his stuff. Actually, Keenan Thompson just wore his shoes. Shout out to Mike B. I made that connection when he got his walk up. He got his star
last week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He had his shoes on.
Oh, word?
Yeah, I made that connection for him.
Dope.
So super high end. So he has an interesting story because he comes out of prison. He was actually locked up with Wallow. He's from Pennsylvania. He was locked up with Wallow and started sketching shoe designs when he was in prison. Came out of prison and got to it and started a high end, because a lot of times you start like lower end fashion, like t-shirts and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't really see a lot of black designers in the high end space. But he decided to start in the high end space, and he's doing his thing. And like I said, he's going to be in Neiman Markets, I believe, in the fall. First black shoe designer.
That's incredible.
In Markets. So dope story for everybody that's an entrepreneur, everybody that's overcoming adversity, but definitely for anybody that's interested in merch and high end merch specifically. So check that episode out tomorrow, EYL, 8:00.
Yeah, and the sneakers is fire. He gave us some pairs, and there's an exclusive pair that he's gonna make for us, but you'll see that later. But the sneakers are fire, man. I wore both pairs. He gave us a white pair and a black and white pair. They look luxurious. It's not like, yo, what are those? They like, yo, who made those?
Are they comfortable though?
And they comfortable. Yeah, I wore them a few times. I told him I got to get another pair. Like I wore them, and I was like, yo, I need a pair just to stock. I like to have a rock and stock pair, so I just need a stock pair just in case. You never know when you're gonna need a fly white shoe.
Yeah.
So I definitely need a stock there.
Yeah. So all right. So that's that. For everybody that took advantage of the stock club sale last week, you will be entered into the system this week, I believe, right, Ian?
Yeah, everybody be uploaded by Tuesday, tomorrow at 9 Central at the latest. So you guys be in tomorrow.
So this week, all of the emails, all of the names will be put into the system, and you'll be up into the system this week. And
is it closed now, or they have 24 hours?
I think it's closed.
Sorry for y'all.
And London, Invest Fest Europe. We headed to the UK, and that is October 31st, Royal Albert Hall. So the Royal Albert Hall, we will be doing a show, and Royal Albert Hall is probably the most prestigious venue in the UK. So it's ticketed. Unlike last time, which was a free networking event, and some people couldn't get in, a lot of people couldn't get in. This time, everybody will get in. It's a ticketed event. You pay, you get in, it's a ticket, and then we'll have probably a VIP experience the day before. So that whole weekend, Halloween, Sunday, and Monday, very, very monumental. We're working on some big surprises for you guys. UK. So everybody in America, if you've never been, or even if you have been, it's a good opportunity to travel to one of the greatest cities in the world. London is a vibe.
Beautiful.
but all of our supporters in the UK, all of our supporters in Holland and France and Ireland, all across Europe and Africa as well. This is something that you guys need to be at. InvestFest Europe, Halloween, London, big vibes. It's gonna be a show to remember.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, this will be like one of the first times they don't have to wait up till 2 a.m. to watch us.
Yeah,
you can watch us live in person. It's going to be magical. London's a beautiful city. If y'all was there last time and we was out there, y'all already know what type of magic we bring in. But we got, like you said, when we said we got some surprises for y'all, if you saw what we did in Atlanta, you should understand why we can't say it. But we got some big things planned. The right way, the only way.
Buy your tickets early, please.
Preferably.
Do not wait till they sell out and then try to, go on StubHub and buy from ticket scammers. The ticket scammer market is going crazy.
Yeah, listen, if y'all buy a VIP night for $3,000 and won't be able to get in, please don't DM me. I'm probably working on slides how I did in Atlanta. Buy them officially, otherwise. But shout out to those who are finessing. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah.
Listen, just do good business, man. Do good business.
I'm glad you said that, because there are some pages that are using our names, and we would never solicit anything from anyone through Instagram or through YouTube or any social media platform. We don't solicit anything. And so somebody that we actually know from our town was somebody tried to solicit money through the InvestFest page. That's not us. Please understand that we would never do that. And so you should understand that if somebody's doing that, please just report them. I appreciate y'all sending us the messages to saying that it's happening, but just know it's not us. We would never solicit anything from any of you.
Yeah,
or if you know who's running that scam farm, send them to me so I can hire them and actually give them some legit work. Because they do work hard.
They go crazy.
Credit. Yeah, they go crazy.
Scammers are relentless. So I pinned it. The website, you can go to the link in our bio. You can go to the description of this video, or it's pinned here on YouTube. investfest/euro.com. And once again, I'm pretty sure by now you saw what happened in Atlanta. I don't even need to talk about it. You saw what happened in Atlanta, so you know the type of energy that we bring. We have a proven track record here on these live event situations. So London will be no different. Like I said, the first time we went to London was a networking event. It wasn't an event, it was a networking event. People were so anxious for us to be out there that they just turned it into an event. But it wasn't an event. It was never supposed to be an event. It was supposed to just be a meet and greet networking vibe. This is a full-fledged production, ladies and gentlemen. Full-fledged production on a level of what we did in Atlanta, on a level of Apollo, on a level of, what you would expect standard-wise. Do not miss it. Get your tickets now before they sell out. London. See you soon.
Yeah, get your drip ready, please.
Indeed.
Are we giving y'all advance warning? So you got about, 75 days? You got 75 days to go to your tailor, go to your stylist, tell them the look that you would like to craft, and show up. This is foreign land for us, but we're going to come with that international flavor. So
multiple wardrobe changes on stage too.
I suggest and highly advise you to get your outfits ready. It's going to be an event.
All right.
Yeah, it's prestigious.
Disclaimer.
Before we go to disclaimer, let me tell you about some good people. Red Panda family, the Red Panda Rebellion. Earners, we got a great choice for you if you're looking to bank or invest. Ally is a leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service and is relentlessly focused on doing it right for both customers and our communities. Ally is giving our Market Mondays viewers and listeners a special offer on ally.com/EYL so that you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter most to you. Again, that's ally.com/EYL. For everything we need, we're all better off with an Ally. Securities, products, and services are offered through Ally Invest Securities, LLC. Member FINRA/SIPC. Shout out to the good folks over there at Ally, and shout out to Erica over at Ally. I see she got married over there, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah,
congrats.
She's been married. I think that was
the anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations on the anniversary, Erica. We saw that on Instagram. All right, folks, you know how this works. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you found on our show and which to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. This is a message brought to you by the good fellas at Earn Your Leisure and the good brother Ian Dunlap, the master investor himself. Hey, Ian, they brought up your name today when we were shooting. And it made me think back to when it was Ian St. Patrick.
One city at a time.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while, man. We too much fun. Too much fun.
Too much fun. Too much fun. Stock Club call tomorrow will be at 9:30. Once again, everyone who signed up and got the deal from InvestFest, you will be in by tomorrow at 9:30 Central. Let's have an amazing episode. Love you guys. And what was the biggest lesson that you guys took away from InvestFest? It's still, the energy is still rolling, man. Like, people are on fire. People are still talking about it. So, like, I'm honored to have been a part of it. But I want you guys to keep the momentum and everything that you learned, and now apply what you've learned from the show into your lives and business, so you can make all of your dreams come true. So let's get to it.
Yeah, I think Trap, he put out a post on Saturday, and it was literally exactly how I was feeling. Like, I woke up Saturday like, wait, it was a week ago? Nah, we got to do this again. We got to run this back. Let's run it back. Man. Like, let's run it back. And I know other people had that feeling too. So like you said, the momentum is just, it's been incredible. We still got pictures that are still coming in, and videos still coming.
Shout out to Dame. He was like, yo, next year you should have a panel for people that want to pay to get on InvestFest. He was like, I'm sure people will pay for that just exposure. He was like, yo, you don't understand. Like, that's not normal to be able to speak in front of 12,000 people. I'm like, nah, we only want people that we really want to have on. But I appreciate the gesture.
Yeah.
Because
can't water it down.
No, you can't. You got to keep standard.
Some things your money can't buy.
Yes, that's very factual. Very factual. So, all right, let's get into this. All right. So the first thing
before we begin, China is going to collapse soon. Next year, they're going to go through a big recession. Get careful. Or be careful. So for those of you about to tune out, you about to go cook and take care of your kids, keep your eye on China. Things are going to get really tough next year. My apologies. Go ahead.
China will collapse. All right, let's get back to that later on.
They always say it's not true. I know it's going to be a think piece tomorrow. Ian's wrong again. Okay, give it a few months. Michael Saylor, Bitcoin 20,000, said I was crazy, said Michael Saylor wouldn't leave, and here we are.
So let's get right into this. Bitcoin hit 24,000. The highest price has been in 2 months. What price will it hit by the end of the year?
I think Bitcoin will probably get up to like 34,720. It's going to be a slow push up. The world is like really just, and we'll talk about Michael Burry later, but the hedge funds, macro investors, institutional investors are just really resetting the prices that should be bought in at. We kind of did like a dead cat bounce, and we're like in the middle range. This isn't the best time to buy. We'll probably hit 34,000, some change, maybe get up to 35,000 and slide back down. But we should end up positive. We'll have some positive growth in Bitcoin for the year. S&P is pushing up. Everyone put in chat, what's the number I said we should hit for S&P by end of year? We're getting close there. And I think by 2024, like Bitcoin will be back in that 60, 70, possibly 80 range. So you got to hold on tight, but it'll be worth it for a few years for you to hold on to it.
Okay.
So we're talking a longer term investment.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Bitcoin, but we should also pay attention to what Ethereum is doing.
I'm going to Ethereum next. I want to see if you want to talk about Bitcoin.
Oh, no, I mean, obviously, we say this all the time. Like, I'm not trading it, so it's a long term investment. So if the money goes in, it stays there. But it's interesting. Like, some people who have been waiting, hopefully, like you said, got into it when it got down to 19.9 or 19.7. Because even at 24, you've made profit. If it gets up to 34, you made even more profit. And we always try to figure out where's the bottom. When it pulls back 60, 70%, we've seen the volatility in it. If you've studied the history of it, you know that, all right, anywhere between 70 to 83, 85% is the time that it usually hits its bottom. And so we got to that point. If your research said it, then you should have invested in it. But again, we keep it long term. I'm not trading it. We're going to stay in the position.
Yeah, I say Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two that you should hold long term. Everything else you should trade. So I know some of you like, you hate every crypto. I don't. I just don't want you guys to lose a bunch of money. But Shiba, Doge, Luna, all the ones that are not the top two, swing trade those. And if you want to day trade them. But Bitcoin and Ethereum, you should hold. I'd like the return. I think over the last 10 years for Bitcoin, if you held it, it's like 210,000% return.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
You can't argue with that. You can't argue with the math.
Yeah.
Just hold.
So, all right. So let's talk about Ethereum. The mighty Ethereum is back, has risen like the Phoenix, is up 50%, I believe, this month.
Yeah. From the low.
Ethereum 2.0 on the way. Ethereum.
Yeah.
Is Ethereum good now?
Good question. Yeah, so it has risen again. Another, just the same story as Bitcoin. We saw it pull back to a 1,600 level. Obviously, now it got up to 2,000, pulled back a little bit. But the news of that, the merge that's happening, right? So I think they gave us a date over the weekend, saying September 15th. It's going to move from proof of work to proof of stake, which means less energy intensive as far as how they're going to produce, less rewards being given, and more of a proof of stake situation, which is obviously going to make it a more efficient coin or a more efficient blockchain to build on. And so that is going to happen. They're saying the 15th to the 19th. They've already tested. I think last week they had the third trial of the merger and it went successful. And so Vitalik came out, I think probably over the weekend, and said, so those are going to be the dates to look out for. So it had a nice ride. Like you said, it's up 52% from its lows. Ethereum is something that we spoke about, I mean, over and over. We talked about being the highway for all these blockchains, these coins to be built on, especially from a usage standpoint. So we're long on Ethereum. Yeah.
I'm going to say something that I normally don't say. I don't know. So I'll give you guys a target. So 29.5480 is a price target that we could hit. I just haven't done all the reading, given the fact that I was sick. I haven't had a chance to go through like all the reading and research. I do think, look at, once again, BlackRock, Vanguard. And I know people are like, hey, that doesn't matter. Last year was like they would never have influence. And now we see BlackRock and Coinbase start to have a partnership. You're going to see JP Morgan, Citadel, and a few others have a bigger impact on the price movement of Ethereum. Go check and see how big they're buying to give you an insight if it's going to do well. Like if the top 5 hedge funds are buying it like crazy, then it'll be okay. So I'm not playing both sides. I'm just giving a price to where it could go by end of year. And if you're holding it, you should be holding it for a 5-year period anyway, as with any long-term investment. Those are Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll go on record are the only two I think you should not be trading. You should be holding if you believe in them.
Yeah, well, anybody that watches Market Mondays knows I've been pretty consistent when it comes to Ethereum. I think it's the most important cryptocurrency. I think that it is.
Why is that by chance? To play God's advocate.
God's advocate, because of it is use, right? Like, you know, things are built on the Ethereum blockchain. Bitcoin is the most popular one, but outside of it being traded and outside of it just being Bitcoin, which is like the brand name for cryptocurrencies, kind of become like Band-Aid. That's it. Where Ethereum is a whole ecosystem within itself, and it's the largest one. They have competitors, Solana, different things of that nature, but there's still really no competition when you look at it. So being that it's the second biggest crypto, but a whole ecosystem, and it's improving, I feel like it's the most important cryptocurrency and will continue to be the most important cryptocurrency moving forward. And I feel like Ethereum's here to stay. I don't think that it's gonna collapse. Of course, it's gonna have ups and downs. Cryptos have up and down. Like, that's crypto. Yeah. If you don't want up and down, then you can't invest in cryptocurrency. But long haul, I believe in Ethereum. I have always believed in Ethereum, and I think that Ethereum will be here for a very long period of time.
I'll say this too: if we stay in a crazy interest rate environment and we stay in this like recession like economy, while the market goes up and banks are more valuable, Ethereum will have a lot more value for sure, because the banks will start to integrate it a lot more. For those you don't, get the take, go look at the episode that we had with BitBoy. which I think was a great episode. Yeah, Ethereum will be, because every recession, there's new products, new services that are ushered in. Ethereum could be one of the ones that are integrated a hell of a lot faster. So when I was saying, hey, I think the banks are going to take over or maybe destroy, his thesis was, well, they're going to use Ethereum to integrate it into the banking system. So yeah, if we stay in an environment where interest rates are high, tech stocks are down, Peloton underperforms, if banks do better, Ethereum is going to have a very important place in that banking system to help banks dominate even more.
Yeah, and the low that I'm looking at here was in July 17th. It got down to 993, and so right now it's currently at 1886. So if somebody obviously entered the crypto space at that time, you made profit. I mean, I think we're right at the market. It was around April, May when it was teetering around 2000. Obviously, it hit its high at 4,800 in last October. So just interesting to watch. But this is why we talk about being patient and understand the volatility and understanding that this asset class is a little bit different than the market, right? Like these things are very volatile and it moves in a very fast way. But if you can understand the charts when you're trading stocks, then I mean, you're gonna have the same principles that you can use when you're trying to trade crypto. It's just that it's a lot more volatile.
If you guys need an entry, 1544.70 is a good place to get in if you haven't got in already as well. It's gonna slide back down, but that's a good place to be able to get in. And don't buy today. Wait for that price. Please put in chat. Patience is what pays me. So wait for those right prices, and you'll be able to get in and take advantage of the upside of it. And once again, this is for long term. So for those of you that are like taking my prices and remixing them and giving them to your cousin for a 2-day swing trade, this ain't it. I saw a lot of y'all in Atlanta. Man, you let me down. No, you let me down. I said 5 years. I'm sorry. No gambling. No gambling. Hold for the long term.
And here's a rule of thumb, just in investing, period. Always bet on the ecosystems. So Amazon is an ecosystem. Apple is an ecosystem. What I mean by that is, like, if Apple goes down, it's not just Apple going down. All of the apps in the App Store that rely on Apple, all of the, like, these are things that have to go down. So it's
our
like
economy will go down.
Yeah, it's like Nino Brown. Like, you know what I'm saying? When it was like, it's bigger than Nino Brown. Like, some people are just too big to fail, because if you take them down, everybody falls. Yeah. So I feel like Ethereum is that for crypto. Ethereum's too big to fail. And if Ethereum fails, it's going to have a tremendous ripple effect, even bigger than Bitcoin. Bitcoin will have a tremendous psychological effect, and a tremendous economic effect. Mm-hmm. But if Ethereum goes down, it's going to have a ripple effect across the whole ecosystem. So you have to look at it like this. There's trillions and billions of dollars invested into crypto, but most of it is with hedge funds and institutions. So they have a vested interest for the whole crypto space not to fail. So being that they have a vested interest in the whole crypto space not to fail, they have to keep some coins up. Like Ethereum has to be caught until they have a equal competition that is willing to take it out. You can't afford for Ethereum to fail, because it's going to be catastrophic for the whole entire space, and it's going to cost a lot of people money. And at the end of the day, nobody wants to lose money. You don't invest to lose money, especially at the highest levels. So Ethereum is too big to fail.
And even like from a dominance standpoint, I don't know if anybody ever looks at that, but I'm looking at it right now on CoinMarketCap. I remember the days when Bitcoin dominance, the percentage used to be in the 60s and the 70s. Yeah. If you look now, it's at 40%.
Yeah,
Ethereum's at 20%, and so that gap has closed substantially about those two coins or those two cryptocurrencies, about how much they affect the overall space. So that's interesting to look at.
Yeah, I see what you did with the ripple effect.
Shout out.
I mean, where else are you gonna get New Jack City and Above the Rim in a show? I mean,
shout out to all the Ripple and XRP enthusiasts.
They are here.
No one is bigger enthusiast than Crypto 901.
Shout out to the king.
Biggest XRP enthusiast I've ever seen
to date.
Historically. Michael Burry dumps all of his stocks except for one.
Yeah.
What should that tell us about what's coming in the market? So for historical reference, if you don't know who Michael Burry is, if you haven't watched the movie The Big Short, you should. Very, very good.
Times.
He's the one that made billions of dollars shorting the market in 2008 for the housing crash. So, he became legendary for that situation. And now, obviously, anytime that he speaks, people take it very seriously because of what happened in 2008. So he's, I guess, predicting that a very, very cold winter in stocks is coming. We've had a nice little rebound the last week or two, but he's not feeling it. So what's the deal?
Yeah.
With this?
So I'm gonna let you I just want to frame this up, right? So there was 13 positions that Scion had. That's the group that his firm, right? They had 13 stocks that they invested in. Google was one of them. They sold that off. Meta was one. They sold that off. The one that they did keep is called Geo Group. You ever heard of Geo Group?
Yeah.
Geo Group is a Florida-based company that invests and operates private prisons. So they bought over $3 million in shares of the Geo Group, and since then that stock has gone up 12%, which is interesting. Out of everything to sell off, I mean, you had Fortune 100 like Google, Alphabet. You had Alphabet and you had Meta, which is another top 10 as far as market cap. But you let those go, and you kept the company that invests in private prisons. And if you ever, I mean, we've talked about this in detail about the impact that private prisons have on our communities for sure, and how they profit off of making prisoners. So that's interesting. I'll let you go. I mean, I'll finish it up.
Yeah, the reason. Well, let's address the private prison thing. I'm anti-investing in prison. I don't care how much money is involved. I would never invest in the sector. The reason why they did though is because it's an indication of who's going to be in office when election cycles turn over. So if you talk to anybody politically, they're pretty much telling you like, hey, these next 3 to 4 years, politically, the landscape is going to change very aggressively and very fast. But the reason why he sold off Meta, he also had an Apple short that he got rid of. Now we're just in the middle. It's not an ideal time to initiate any buys. So if you're looking to put capital to use right now, things aren't low enough to buy. They're not high enough to short. So we kind of just ride in the middle. But since crime is going up, we're going to have to change politically. Hate to say it, I don't see how Biden could win re-election unless The Rock runs with him and the current VP sits down. And we can talk about the Trump thing later with the FBI, but they are potentially propping him up for a run again. Things are going to change very fast. And that's why I'm saying now, if China collapses on top of that next year, which, I know some of you are going to be like, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but home sales are down 28.6% in China. Private investment homes are down 12.3%. So if home sales are down 28%, and I know everybody on Instagram, every realtor is telling you the market's still going up. No, it's not. China's our parent. So if they have the flu financially, we're going to get pneumonia next year or COVID-25, right? And things are going to be bad. And we're going to go through a period for maybe 2 or 3 years where it feels like 99 through 2001, 2002 all over again, where we're just floating up and down and we're not having any breakout movement. Private equity is deploying capital a little slower. We're just not in a great economic environment. The great part is if you're an investor and you can wait this out, the number one advantage that we have as retail investors is that we can hold longer than most institutions. That's where all the money is. So we have 14 years of quantitative easing, free flowing money. Now the people that can actively invest and be patient and hold for long term are going to win. So when everybody was getting them easy option trade, y'all still trading options or no? Easy penny, not y'all. I'm talking to
I'm about to say, raise your hand.
To the audience. Easy penny stocks. I know it's a little war and campaign against me. Hey, where are we now? Kathy having issues. You can't cycle through all those stocks and all those trades. Now we're going to see who actually can invest, but it's going to be a game of long term. So please look at the big picture, the macroeconomic environment. I know it seems scary, but this is the time that you want. Everybody in 2020 was like, damn, I wish the market would come down. Here we are. Now you get an opportunity to build for the future, suffer and sacrifice for 2 or 3 years to be able to get your family in the position that you want to be. And if you're scared in this market to invest, either you have not listened to me or you have not done your research. That's it. And yes, listen to Michael Burry, because damn near everything he said and predicted has come true.
So, all right, let's talk about this China situation. Since you referenced China a few times so far this show. Oh, you said China at the beginning. You said China will collapse. You want to put that into context? I'm gonna give you opportunity to put this into context.
Mike, clip this up. China gonna fall. So I'm gonna do look like all the spicy. I've learned.
What's the first domino, Ian? Is it the housing market?
Yeah, it's the housing market, because they're going through what we really went through in 2007 and 2008. Like, two things. I told you guys last year. Now, if y'all don't listen, that don't have nothing to do with me, baby. Evergrande, number one. Now, if the following 4, 2 through 5 fall apart, and now if you saw a couple weeks ago, they had military trucks in front of the bank saying, you can't take your money out of our bank because that is considered an investment of ours. What is that call for those of you who work in the financial industry? So now if you can't withdraw money and the real estate market is soft, to say the least, and then you got SoftBank, who was throwing money around like they were spending money in Magic City into all these startups, and most of them didn't do well. What does that tell you? They went through a cycle of growth, of grandeur, how we went through in 2007 and 2008, and now they're going to pay the price. And now, because they own a lot of our debt and intellectual property, we are going to feel it as well. So I know people are not going to agree. My job is to not tell you what you want to hear. My job is to tell you the truth. And let's be very honest. Put yes in chat if you've heard me say crazy stuff like this before every hedge fund, before Buffett, and then 3 months later, it's like, yeah, this is why the market is falling. You'll make a lot more. Just listen. I'm gonna be real. Just listen to what I tell you. If not, the people who say that I'm wrong, tell them to put some money in your pocket. If I made you money, let me get yes in chat. We're gonna end all debating. I know everybody want a debate show and y'all want to do $1 million worth of game stock edition. No. It's a big show here.
The big show. The big show.
The biggest.
Mike, clip this up.
The big show.
Okay. Hot take. Ian.
It's data-based. Evergrande is bigger.
But when you say collapse,
yeah, I mean,
what do you actually mean by collapse? Because that's a very Ian. This is something, Ian. This is China, bro. This is the world's strongest economy in the next 10 years. This isn't just a regular country. This is China.
Mathematically, if a country or any entity, like at what point, how much risk and how much leverage can you use before it has negative ramifications on your GDP or on your business? There's no business that is too big to fail. No country. We see it with our country right now.
That's true.
America's Hulk Hogan right now. Ric Flair. Woo. That's your boy. Was that in the 80s? Not right now. Hanging on by a thread. If we took Apple away, Microsoft, Google, man, we'd be third world country. It's scary. But
third world country?
Take Apple and Microsoft and Google out of our economy.
That's top 4 in the world, though. I mean,
what is the GDP? Someone put it in chat. What's the market cap of Apple, Microsoft, and Google? Subtract that from the GDP. What percentage of GDP do those 3 companies add to our economy? Is America better now than it was even 20 years ago?
Those are all billion-dollar companies.
Well, that's like saying if you take LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry away from the NBA. I mean, if you take the best, yeah, of course. Like that's
but look at it like this: the rest of the S&P is Eric Snow's.
Shout out to Eric Snow.
Eric Snow cousins. I don't want no issue. I'm just saying.
Shout out to Eric Snow.
Shout out to Eric Snow.
Like there, okay. Even when we get to talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Algorand, XRP, these are coins. Like these are There's been more innovation in the coin market in the last 5 years than there's been innovation in corporate America in the last 50. Even Tesla, without Elon, Tesla's a cute Ford. He's the driving force behind it. If Vitalik ran Tesla, nobody would want a Tesla. Yes or no?
Yes.
I know everybody thinks these are hot takes. Listen, go and Josh will say the same shit, and people will be like, "Oh my god, it was genius! Oh my god, just take this shit as law." I'm here to help.
51st law right here. So I mean the ramifications, right? I mean, obviously too big to fail. So I'm thinking like, obviously we saw what happened when we had economic downturn. The government does whatever it takes. Yeah. I'm assuming, I mean, from China, they would probably do the same. But I know most people are wondering, like, obviously their housing market, how's it going to affect ours directly? Their banking system, how's that going to affect us here directly? Obviously, we don't bank with China. It's not even something that we do. So how will it affect, I guess, the average American if that does happen?
If they have a pullback, and when I say crash, I mean, I don't mean collapse and then they're going to go like, they're going to fall apart. Like the economy will be down for 2 or 3 years and then they'll initiate like a bailout package as well. And then things will be fine. So I don't mean like they're going to collapse and then fucking fall into the ocean. Excuse my language.
He can't. Hold on. They saying he can't be Birdie. He's wearing the Georgetown jersey. He's obviously Dwayne Martin in the movie. He's not Birdie. Stop.
Pull his razor out though, y'all. Listen.
They missed.
Shep. Oh, Shep. I'm just saying.
We on the roof with it.
Hey, that's all. Okay. Even with that, how he hit the backboard so hard, he fell off the building.
How did that happen?
Shout out to
Yo, he jumped through the bit like
legendary.
You hear that, Nutso?
Boy, they took 2 basketball clips and just put reverse on it. I watched Butter Room the other day. I'm like, it was 3 scenes. Anyway,
jumped off the roof. That was legendary.
Shout out to Liam.
But it will have an impact on us. I mean, the truth is, if you read Ray Dalio's book, the economy overall, like, okay, we put all this venture capital money into social media that has not positively impacted the world. And we're wondering why we don't have more GDP. Like we are actively watching people re-record audio to go viral on IG and TikTok instead of learn how to build a business. Done by China. So you don't think that if they're implanting certain things on these apps, because the influence just is not on TikTok, you don't think that some of this is done to help hurt our economy? And even if they go down, that will allow them to buy more in DR, allow them to buy more in Africa, which they're dominant in. For those of you who don't travel and don't see, sorry, going to buy more in Puerto Rico. They're getting closer to us every year, and they're quietly building and quietly acquiring a lot to then win this game of chess that they've been playing. We need better leadership from top. We need better capital plans. We need better capital deployment. We need better companies. So when I'm telling you guys, you have to build the companies of the future, they're needed. We don't need another social media app. We need some actually real companies that makes real change in the world. But I mean, people can say that I'm wrong, and that's fine too. Give it 4 or 5 months. Nikki, clip this up, please.
Please.
Thank you.
Please clip it up.
Appreciate you.
Okay. Shout out to YouTube. 7,200 people want to check in, hit the like button and share, please. Mouse Jones, he said, no. He said he likes Ian. He said,
that's my dog.
He said he likes Ian because he talks crazy to people, paraphrasing him. He said that's his favorite part about the whole situation.
Yeah, loves it.
He said he can relate to that.
That's my guy. Don't let me. If me, Mouse, and Dame have 30 minutes on air, boy, FCC won't let me be. But I mean, okay, now even from a business standpoint, I know some of this sounds controversial, but there's artistry. Like, learn to have artistry in telling the truth. Like, if people don't think that I don't know that this gets people riled up, but it hits better when I rile you up and say it like that. There's a lot more value in predicting the truth and telling the truth. And that's why even at InvestFest, the reaction was that because they like, yo, Ian is real. No matter what, I'm not going to sell the people out. So I get it. But is it that I sound crazy or I'm talking crazy, or people are just lied to so much that what I say sounds foreign? When you get finessed and manipulated all the time, the truth sounds really weird.
Really weird. Very weird.
What do I know?
Let's talk about this. Warren Buffett triples his stake in Ally. Shout out to Ally. And sells Verizon. Should we follow the same strategy?
All right.
Yes.
You say yes. I'm gonna let me give him some background as to why. And shout out to Ally. I'm just, give him some information about Ally. All right. So Ally Financial, the largest direct-to-consumer digital bank in the United States. No branches, right? Digital bank. It's mainly in auto lending business, but also has big mortgage portfolio, originates personal credit cards, and point of sale loans. Also, all right, it has an insurance business and online brokerage and wealth management division with close to 17 billion in client assets. And so, why is the big auto piece important? Well, we saw during the pandemic what shoot up: auto sales, right? The new cars and used cars. And so obviously that helps the business. In addition to that, they also have, rewards for shareholders. They have a great dividend. And so these are some of the things. I'm not saying this is why Warren Buffett did it. And I know it's not a huge part of his portfolio for Berkshire Hathaway, but it is a piece. And so those are some of the key factors that people weren't familiar with Ally and what they do. Go ahead, Ian.
And the risk is relatively low. And to think that like the high early this year was 52, it only came down to 32. Very low risk. And I'm not saying this because they're sponsored. Like I was using Ally before in 2008, but they are one of the few companies that take care of their customer base. And it may be a slower build, but over time, you're going to see more companies, especially during a recession. The customer care part and what you deliver is going to matter a hell of a lot more. I think Ally is an amazing company, and especially if interest rates remain high, banking is a place where you can park money and get an easy gain. So I'm sure he's looking at that. If he piled in at $33, I mean, I have Ally going to 47 by January of next year. That's a pretty solid return. You need safe returns.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah, because the safe returns will then allow you to get the monster gains that you want. What hurts most of us is we try and go for a 500% gain and then lose 200%, and then we quit investing. Like get a base hit first, then begin to go for home runs, so you guys will be okay.
Yeah, all the analysts have pretty much said the same thing that you just said. That the risk reward is so low. It's a safe investment, which is obviously Berkshire makes sure that they're going to have great returns on anything that they invest in. So probably reasons why.
Do I sound crazy, or just most people who talk about investing and trading don't know what they're talking about?
Well, I think he said, I think what he was referring to was when you actually respond to people in the comments.
Oh, you gotta do a little straightening once in a while. Diplomatically, but you got to do it. Like you can't let people say whatever they want to. Like the customer is not always right, and neither is the audience. Once again, social media is a digital orphanage for lost souls. People are arguing with you, for all my business owners, because at some point something in their life is not going well. But that's why Red Panda, I try to make sure, and especially when we're out, my friends always like, yo man, we can't stop. But I'm like, I've learned. Big lesson from Tupac, going back to Above the Rim. He was always like, I can't tell a fan no if they want to say hi. It may be their first and last time seeing me. These are the people that help prop me up. Who am I to not stop and say hi to them? Team got to pull me away. But if people are talking negatively about you, you got to address it.
But I feel like Instagram is so crazy, like especially a lot of the men on Instagram. It's like even like us, like people, they'll make up stories. People will be like, you could pay to get on Earn Your Leisure, and then it comes out that nobody has ever paid to come on Earn Your Leisure. They're not going to correct it. They're not going to say, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah,
that's not true. So it's like they're saying, it's like you could just say anything. Like people say stuff about Nipsey Hussle. It never came out that it was true. But the fact that you even said it, somebody's going to believe that it is true. You're not going to come back and say that oh, I lied about this. Oh, it's not. When there's no proof that it'll ever happen. Nobody will ever come forward to corroborate the story.
Yeah.
You could just say anything, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, unfortunately, it says a lot about the times that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
But what can you do? So it's like, the internet is a place where you can say anything because there's no repercussions. There's no repercussions for what you say. And it gives you freedom to just, vent. It's like therapy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could just say the most craziest things in the world. You could say like, oh, your grandmother stole $5 from me. Like, it's not true, but you can say it. There's no police that's going to stop you from doing it. And there's nobody's ever going to see you in real life. Nobody even knows who you are. So especially on YouTube. YouTube has become very toxic in a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
But once again, it says a lot about the times that we're in.
Two big lessons that I want business owners to take away from this. At some point, you do have to get big enough to not reply. Because the thing I didn't know, people was using this as like campaigns to roll their stuff out. So when I was like, oh, I'm the only idiot that's replying, that's helping the rollout.
Exactly.
Corey, like, what are you doing? They're setting you up every time. I'm like, I didn't know. I thought they really didn't like me. Okay, cool. But also too, like, a coward can get courage if you don't reply, and people will believe a lie much quicker than they will the truth. So you have to learn how to address it without giving someone else traction on top of it. So it's layer, it's nuance. Like, I'm not perfect at it. My thing is like, Charlamagne had a good quote that I think he said he learned from Wendy. Like, you can either be of the people or be of the industry. I'm gonna always pick to be of the people. So whether people may not like, some of the stuff that I say and how I reply, I'm like, when it comes to these prices, nobody fucking with me on that.
Period.
Pick your core thing.
Focus on the light, gentlemen. Focus on the light.
Period.
Focus on the light.
All right. Let's talk about
one city at a time. Can we do 3 cities at once? I'm not.
Oh man.
Picture me what I gotta say.
Apple plans to expand its advertising business, including placing ads inside of Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
How will this affect other tech companies?
Snapchat's in trouble. Meta.
I was waiting for you
make
to
some
say
adjustments.
I was waiting for you to say
Shout out to the Meta family. Love you. I quit.
I was waiting for you to say it. Yep.
And this is why I say, like, you cannot be every business owner. Please write this down. You cannot be dependent on one source of anything, because if it goes away, you're in trouble. So now they've watched the ecosystem for the App Store grow, and I'm sure they're saying, okay, great. Now we have baseball on Friday nights. We have a lot of shows coming out. Why don't we just put our own advertising on top of it? And now, since we're going through a recession, we've seen Netflix adjust, Hulu's adjusting with the ad model. So is Disney. Now it's Apple's time to squeeze in a little bit more profit by having ads on their platform. And then if they can lower the price for the consumer won't mind, because now you get more of a deal on the shows that you're watching. So, but Snap in trouble, Twitter definitely in trouble.
Yeah.
And I hate to say Twitter in maybe by 2028, Twitter will be dead. Twitter will be dead.
Yeah, so for those not in the know, the advertising business for Apple generates $4 billion annually. $4 billion. It's like one of those things that nobody even thinks of. $4 billion annually in ad space. But this is something that was pretty unique. And they did this. And if you have an iPhone, they had the privacy features, that app tracking transparency, which, like, when they ask you, do you want the app to follow you? And you could allow once, allow only in this app. So a lot of companies made money off of that, because before they had the transparency, they could advertise to you in any way they want. But now Apple's saying, like, look, we're going to, obviously, when people have to choose, most people, and they've taken the data to show, most people say, no, I don't want this. I don't want them to follow me. But what they're not telling you is that Apple has the data, right? They're not letting other people get the data, but Apple has the data. And so now
they shouldn't,
right? They have it. So now they have the opportunity to directly put ads as well in their space. And so one of the things they're looking at is, like, where's the next growth from Apple? Where can they go? What part of the business can grow? And so nobody's looking at it, but like 4 billion can turn into 8, right? So they're saying over the next 12 months, they see a 20% growth in the ad business, which is incredible. Like most people are not even thinking about Amazon not Amazon, Apple when it comes to ads. We're thinking about the products and services, but like, this is $1 billion business in itself. So
and with having all that data over the years from other people advertising on the platform, seeing what call to actions work, seeing what branding campaigns work, they can make it seamless where it does not. I mean, they haven't even done a bunch of product placement on their shows yet and integrated them in the right way. There's a lot of money there. And if they're the biggest player, biggest ecosystem, that ad business in maybe 10 years should be $20-30 billion a year alone if they have a premium product.
Yeah. And add that to the 92 billion in the war chest. I mean,
I keep saying,
what can they not do?
Plus, they're still partners with Google.
Yep.
So they have friendly cooperation there. So if they team up and get upset enough and just say, let's just put Twitter and Snap out of business, and they work closely together for the next year, they can wrap the entire ecosystem up and say, now you just advertise on these two platforms. It's going to be interesting because now in a recession, and business owners and entrepreneurs, write this down. In a recession, it is a time for you to put your competition out of business. You have to outspend, outmarket, outgive, outstrategize, because now when spending is being crunched down and there's limited attention, now that's when you're going for a kill shot. You don't expend all your energy when everyone has capital flowing. That's why you see, like, if you look in every recession, there's usually a bunch of acquisitions or company goes out of business. Like if you think that Washington Mutual went under in 2008 just because it could have been acquired, but the powers that be didn't want to save Bear Stearns in them. Bank of America played ball with Warren. He got preferred shares. That's why Warren Buffett did a JP Morgan-like move and was able to get shares in that and to be able to save it. But like during a recession, it is your time to attack incredibly aggressive to solidify yourself for the next 10 to 15 years.
Very true. Okay. Elon Musk sells $6 billion worth of Tesla stock. That's interesting. What's the deal with that?
Just in case, if I don't see how it would happen, but if they force him to buy Twitter, which would be like a travesty, honestly. But as a result, Tesla went up. Like same thing when they kicked Vince McMahon out of WWE, shares popped up. So it was interesting to see him selling off those shares and then Tesla rising as a result. I don't think they will make him buy it, but he has to get prepared just in case. It is a good lesson, however, and whatever promises that you make contractually, you have to be prepared to pay them. Yeah. So at first it was a joke and well played for some of the trolling and marketing factors, but legally that has to suck to liquidate that much. But Tesla's doing pretty good. It's at 927.96.
Yeah, crossover 900.
Yeah, it should be at 1041 in a couple weeks. By end of the year, it could be back at 1203. They're good.
Yeah, I think it's just cautionary. I think he's preparing in the event that, I think the litigation it's starting pretty soon, right? October or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, if the ruling doesn't go in his favor, you got to be prepared to now purchase a company that you originally didn't want and then wanted. And so I just precautionary. Yeah, it's cool. Put $7 billion on the side.
One thing I can say for sure, if he worked out an arrangement with all them baby mamas, I'm sure he's gonna find a way to work his way to not have to pay up $7 billion for Twitter. Boy, finesse God. Whew. Kudos to Elon.
Finesse.
These were hot takes by Ian Dunlap.
Elon, he's working on population control. That's what he said.
That was his tweet.
Yeah,
he's funny enough.
About to populate the world. Him and Nick Cannon. Shout out to Nick Cannon.
Amazing. He looked us in the face and said he was done.
We got a couple bombs we can drop.
Nah, bro. We looked us in the face and said, I'm done.
Having kids?
Yeah. Remember, he was like, nah, I'm done. That's it, bro.
Changed his mind. Well, I think they was probably already pregnant at that time.
Perhaps it had to be, right? Yeah. So he wasn't telling the truth. He's done after that.
Shout out to Nick Cannon. Great guy.
Nick, a good dude,
Can't stop, won't stop. Bad boy.
Great guy. I mean, if you could take care of the kids, then you could take care of the mothers. Why not?
Yeah. What's that, 9? You got 9 now?
Yeah, I think so.
Calipari?
Kudos to him. That boy deserve a holiday. I need a staff at 80 to take care of 9 kids, boy.
Yeah, that's different.
When you sleep.
9 kids is a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
it's a lot.
That's a lot of lodging.
All right, let's talk about this situation. The FBI ran up in Donald Trump's house, I believe, Mar-a-Lago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Ran his crib, took the computers, took the files, real like drug dealer type raid. Middle of the night. That if you don't know, the feds they all come in off peak hours, early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning, things of that nature. So they treated him with all disrespect. Ran in his house, he wasn't happy about it. So what's going on with this Trump situation? It's a new story every single week.
From what Troy, you want to take it?
I mean, I've been forced to watch it. It's the only thing my parents watch. I mean, there are files that they say that he was in possession of that could be potentially dangerous. There's a threat on national security that he has. Obviously, he's not the president anymore, so I don't think he's supposed to have access to it. And there's been some lies that have been told allegedly, and they're trying to cover him. I know, he's facing tax evasion in New York State, and so the tax files haven't been turned over, and so they're looking to see if some of those papers are in Mar-a-Lago. I mean, when the alphabet boys come, this is no longer, this is like a serious situation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you gonna do?
I mean, interestingly enough, though, it became for the Republican Party like a rallying cry to support him. They don't have a candidate, so this may prop him up to have a chance to be victorious. And it sucks, but during a recession, fellas, always remember this: like, if the money not flowing right, things can always change in the household. Like, if a president is dropping a ball and not performing well, Biden probably is going to lose.
Yeah, and there's a large part of the population that are very upset about this raid. And so I just saw on the news they were saying that the amount of threats on federal agents has increased over the past 2 weeks or the past week or so, because they're not happy about this. So I mean,
that's stupid.
The United States is
one thing.
Interesting place,
one thing you learn about history, yeah, I always study history, is that goes back from the beginning of time. Nobody's bigger than the government, and not even the government. Not even the government is bigger than the government, and they remind you of that. You can have billions of dollars. You can be the richest person in the world. Nobody's bigger than the government. That's why people are so interested in politics, because ultimately politics runs everything. And we've seen this happen in China. With Jack Ma.
Yeah,
went missing for a few
months.
Russia. So it's like, you can only push somebody so long. And Trump, he's pushed it. Pushed the envelope for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's disrespected a lot of people. And yeah, it's only so long that you can do that. There's always repercussions for your actions.
Yeah.
They're going to make an example out of him for sure. Definitely. It's leading up to it. You can see it. The tax situation in New York, the hearings about what happened at Capitol Hill, this situation, they're building up a whole campaign against this situation, and they're going to make an example of him, because I think that the problem was that he felt that he was bigger than the government, even though he is the government, but he's not bigger than the government, because nobody's bigger than the government.
You think imprisonment?
Possibly. I don't know. That'll be extreme, but they'll humiliate him. It's about humiliating people at a certain level. Yeah. Sometimes it's not even about putting somebody in jail. It's about public humiliation. Yeah. So he's gonna get humiliated for sure.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yep. Basically.
I mean, especially with having the ego, and that we all know that will hurt a lot more. And I know people are going to kind of compare it to Bush, but like Bush kept his counsel around him, even though they were using him a lot longer. And they kind of did things in a certain way where there was like a layer of protection around Bush, and Rumsfeld did certain things. But Trump's council got in trouble too fast. Like there's just certain things. I mean, like you said with Jack Ma, there's other entrepreneurs in China that I won't mention that have faced some punishment as a result. Man, you got to be very, very careful. That's a dangerous game that he is playing. It's a dangerous game he's playing.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But also, in Ray Dalio's book, Signs of Civil Unrest is a sign of a country that is starting to collapse. So the final nail in the coffin will be as if we have some kind of civil war, which they've been trying to prop up and make happen for like the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Pay your taxes, ladies and gentlemen.
Live a clean
And
life.
then I know there's going to be people like, no, we're sovereign citizens. We don't have to pay taxes. All right. Don't pay your taxes. See what happens. Try that one. Try to see how that works out for you.
Good luck.
The good thing is that we live in a world where you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat the government. I'll tell you that much.
That's going to be tough.
It's almost
pay the
impossible.
big
Only
one,
people
right?
that beat the feds was Murder Inc. Shout out to Chris Gotti.
They did. They definitely did.
98% conviction rate. 98%. But what do I know? All right.
Next subject.
Yeah, real quick. I haven't done it in a while, but it's a big week for retail. I know a lot of people, and I spoke to some gentlemen yesterday that, they base their investments around the earnings. So really quickly, big week for retail. Tomorrow, Walmart will be reporting. Home Depot will be reporting. Wednesday, we got Target and TJX, that has TJ Maxx under it. Kohl's on Thursday and Ross on Thursday as well. So big week for retail. Big week.
Yes.
Yeah. And shout out to all my people. I got a bunch of messages, obviously, when Disney reported last week. And they were like, Troy, yeah, Disney, man. I'm like, yeah, patience. So shout out to all the people that, took the information, executed on the information as far as when it came to Disney. I told you there was a stock that I believed in, a company I believed in. Obviously, they passed Netflix last week for a number of subscribers, and they're building out new models to have revenue. And so they talked about how Disney Plus has done extremely well, but making rated R content to now bring in more audience. They also talked about putting ad services in it as well, and paying a higher price for Disney Plus. And I'm thinking about 6 to 8 months, they have a big decision to make on what they're going to do when it comes to Hulu. I know they own 60% of it, but Comcast does own a percentage of it. And so if they can figure out how they're going to structure that deal with Comcast, now that if they own 100% of Hulu, that can also be integrated inside of Disney Plus. And when we talk about one of the things that these streaming services fight for is live sports. And we know Hulu has live sports. Yeah. And so now Disney Plus now will have live sports. I know they already have ESPN. And so they're working on that as well as another source of revenue. And if you've been watching ESPN and all the subsidiary channels, ESPN Plus, and all these, you're starting to notice that they have sports betting on TV. And so the next move, in my eyes, I was like, all right, they're going to figure out a way how to monetize off people sports betting right from their home, right from the channel. So that'll definitely be another way to generate revenue. And it could hurt businesses like DraftKings and Flutter, who has FanDuel under its umbrella. So that's an interesting thing to watch. But these things can happen, especially if you're streaming, right? Like they can control that. They have ESPN. You can just do it from your hand while watching the game. So shout out to everybody that was invested in Disney. And thank you. I got a bunch of messages. Appreciate y'all.
So Disney
Netflix is in trouble.
Disney, before we go to questions, Disney has become the #1 paid streaming service. So we put a post up about that last week. They own Hulu.
60%, yeah.
They own ESPN Plus, and then Disney Plus. So they've surpassed Netflix, and they're raising the prices of their subscriptions of all of them. Hulu's price is raising, Disney Plus price is raising, and I think ESPN Plus has already raised its price.
I think it's going. Yep.
They're raising their monthly prices on all of them across the board.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what does this say about the streaming space?
There's only going to be a few that survive.
Well, who's going to survive? Who's not going to survive? Is Netflix going to die or not?
Netflix will be the first one to die.
Netflix will be the first one to die. The first one.
First one off the plane.
Netflix will be the first one to die. The first, like, out of everybody.
So everyone talks about having a moat where it protects you, right? Which is great. But what happens when you have competitors that are circling your castle and now they're attacking you from above, below, and in the middle? So now you have Disney and all their infrastructure. You have Hulu, not a big player, but makes a significant enough impact. You have Amazon, Amazon Fire Stick, HBO Plus, Paramount Plus. Netflix does not have enough content. And going back to the SoftBank over leveraging China conversation, if you spend too much capital and don't have a clear risk to return, you're in danger. So they were the leader for a long period of time. Stock went up. But when you drop as much as they have and went from 700 and now they're at 249. Now, what happens if a few of these want to bundle up under one? And let's say Disney, it won't happen, but if Disney buys Paramount Plus, and now you have everything under one app that you want to access, there's no reason to have Netflix. And then outside of a few shows, there's nothing really on Netflix to entice you to really stay.
Yeah, and they have, so like most people have an average of 4 of these streaming services, and so what you're saying is absolutely true, because HBO and Discovery just announced that they're going to combine very shortly, and so that you're starting to see that. You didn't even mention Apple Plus, right? So Apple Plus is a streaming service, and we talked about what the revenue that they have, right? And having $92 billion in the war chest means that we could disperse some capital really to just put out the competition if they wanted to. And
we're leaving out the big one of YouTube.
And then YouTube. And we can't say it enough. The thing that YouTube and Google, right, and Disney haven't, is built in. The win is already built in. Their audience continues to get younger. Yep. It's just going to continue. Like, as more people have kids, more people will be introduced to Disney characters. They're even now producing, like, when we talk about original content, like that Marvel studio, like I just saw a commercial for She-Hulk. I was like, damn, she got her own show. Like,
I saw.
I didn't even have a comic book, but like they just have so many different characters that they can build. How many Star Wars shows have we seen already? Like it's endless. It really is endless.
Look at it like this. If I said, hey, I'm launching a company and my main competitors are Disney, Apple, Google, Paramount, CBS, NBC, ABC, you'll be like, Ian, I love you, but you better pick something else. That's Netflix. And what's the thing that killed Blockbuster? It was not innovation. People were still buying those $19 DVDs and popcorn for $6. It was the amount of debt that they have. How much debt does Netflix have? And when the stock falls that much, and people then I always tell you guys, basing your products on price is a mistake, because now people are complaining about getting $100 million show and the $2 increase is making people leave. What?
Yeah.
They're in the water.
Yeah.
It'll be a few years.
Somebody just said Stranger Things. I'm like, yeah, Stranger Things is a great show, but the season's over now. And now you got to wait 2.5 years for the next one. Guess what's going to happen in the next 2.5 years?
And them kids like 22 now.
They got to wait. I think that's what
do a reboot, like 11, 14, 15. Like, them years went by quick. The little black kid, he's 6'3". He looked like he LeBron James kid. Bro, y'all got to get another reboot. It takes too long.
2.5 years. I think the next season they have to mature, so they got to wait 2.5 years for them to grow. And so it's like, all right, that's cool, but 2.5 years is a long time. There's going to be a lot of content coming from all these other streaming services that's going to occupy the time of the users. And so they got to, it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. But they, Netflix, they still have room for expansion, right? So like, I know you put the coffin clause on them, but they still have room for expansion from an international standpoint. They're not in all countries throughout the world. So that could happen.
They're not going to be in China. Where could they expand to?
Africa. Right? So you got to think about original content in that sense. So now people from those countries put their original content. Where are they housing it? That could be a play. So there's room for expansion for them, but it's got to be.
And clean up that debt, though.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Africa at the TIA. Oh, shout out to TIA Craft.
Yep.
That's what I forgot to mention. Shout out to TIA Craft. We was in Martha's Vineyard with them. To Shonda, she is the Duckett Brown. She is the CEO of TIA Craft. If you don't know what TIA Craft is, I think they have $1.3 trillion of assets under management.
Yep.
And yeah, they have a black woman as the CEO. So we spent a couple days with them, and shout out to Derek. And he was saying that and we already knew, but just kind of talking more in the corporate setting about Africa and why it's so important. I believe it's gonna have like 30% of the world's population in the next 50 years. It has 80,
under 28, 30% of the population under 28.
Nigeria is on pace to surpass America for population.
That's incredible.
80-something% of Nigeria's population is under 21, and then like 90% of that is like under 18. So the youth population in Africa is never seen anything like it in the history of the world. This is TIA crap, obviously. Like I said, they're already going through the numbers. They're explaining the numbers to us. So I said that to say there's gonna be a lot of opportunity in Africa for sure. So yeah.
Hence why China's investing so much there too. You got to be careful.
Well, yeah, that's why everybody's investing there.
Mm-hmm.
But from a content standpoint, from a media standpoint, there's a lot of opportunity, because even when we went out there and we went to Nigeria, and we was just checking out the landscape of like podcasting and different things of that nature, and it's still in its infancy stages of podcasting and like streaming and different things of that nature. So the opportunity.
Don't say too much. It's gonna be Learn Your Leisure Africa. What in 1 hour? What they're gonna tag you? Watch.
Oh man,
the remix come out quick, boy. Some of Key's fake pages, I'll be thinking it's him. I'm like, dang.
No, he has
this Roots.
He's number one.
It's legendary. Keys, Jessica.
Him and Jess. I was gonna say him.
Him and Jess wild, yo.
Yo, it's crazy.
Keys every single day. Aristotle's getting up there too.
Yeah.
Aristotle's getting up there too.
Him 500. He had like 3,000 fake pages.
But Keys, I've never seen anything like that.
Every day.
Yeah.
Legendary. Legendary. Very legendary. All right. Let's get to one last thing before we get to questions. We gotta talk about this rent situation.
Rent too damn high.
Rent. So we're in a recession, technically, but rent has hit all-time high throughout America. New York City is the worst. With New York City, rent hit all-time highs. Currently, the average apartment in New York is $3,500 average across all boroughs. Manhattan's medium rent is $4,100. That's a 39% jump from last year. Brooklyn's rent has increased by 28% since last year. So the rent, and that's just New York City. Like I said, rent all across America is extremely high. So the housing market is still going up. Rent is going crazy. Like 38% in 1 year. Think about it. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
38% in 1 year. That's astronomical. So what
move?
I
see why everybody in New York be mad.
That's the simple, easiest answer.
But even if you move, I mean, it's a certain thing where it's rents up across the board.
Yeah, but 38% on $1,000 is a lot different than 38% on something that's already $3,500.
Yes, yeah. It's arbitrage play.
Yeah,
well,
New York is always gonna. New York is always gonna. New York and LA is always gonna go up. It's always gonna go up. It's never gonna go down.
Great for landlords. That's
Absolutely.
a rough proposition for tenants, man.
Yeah, it is.
Listen, when 50 moved to Houston, I kept telling everybody, Diddy went to Miami. 50 came to Houston.
No state tax.
It adds up. You have to go where you can get the most bang for your buck. Like when I got the early copy of Money Master the Game before it came out, and it was breaking down no state income tax, I was like, Texas, Florida. Let me go to H-Town. So solely off that, because I'm projecting 10, 15 years what I can bring in. I'm like, so that's a lot to be given up. So, and then if you guys are coming from New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, you'll get a lot more bang for your buck. Even Atlanta is getting a lot more expensive. And then to pay, if you're making millions, to pay 58% taxes, 60%, it's too much, man. New York, I love y'all. Chicago pizza better. I love y'all vibe. I love y'all energy.
Whoa.
Stop. We're not gonna do this.
Oh no, don't do that.
That's
now it turns into a debate
that's
show.
Caparoni.
Boy,
big cap.
That's Caparoni.
Boy, I'd have been to $62 slice places.
Some things we will not stand for.
Shout out to Chicago. Chicago has probably the most beautiful downtown infrastructure. It's a beautiful city and it's beautiful people and it's a lot of love.
Now
But
these are hot takes. It's the hot takes.
The pizza is disgusting.
No, that's too far. It's not
You
disgusting.
tripping.
It's tough to eat though.
They took us to this place that what was the place that
we went to? I went to Grimaldi's.
No, it was this deep dish. It's like
Giordano's.
Giordano's,
It's like
Giordano's
soup.
fire.
Not disgusting though. It's tough to eat though, bro.
It's disappointing. You got to eat it with a fork and a knife.
That cheese is thick, bro.
It's
New York pizza different, bro.
Disgusting.
Don't do that.
Very disgusting. No disrespect to Chicago.
Shout out to love Chicago.
No disrespect to all the rats out in New York. I need
Jersey.
Yo,
going there.
be at the Baccarat, like, yo, Master Splinter right outside. What we doing?
That we cannot defend. That's we do population control. We're working on it.
Oh,
Shout out to the mayor.
New York summer's dope though. I will say that though.
There we go. Appreciate that.
There you go.
The energy.
And
there.
come on, the pizza A1. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, when I come to Irvington, don't y'all be tripping. Shout out to my Jersey people. What's this shit you said, yo? Yeah, hold up. Love you. I made you money. Please put yes in chat. Put that away. So, yeah, we need to have a Chicago pizza versus New York battle. One city at a time.
That's a fact, man. Once again,
perhaps we can arrange that.
Shout out to Chicago though. Love the Chi, but I was highly disappointed with the pizza.
It's too much cheese for you, right?
It was just too much. Period. It's like, yeah, it's too much.
Y'all dollar slice is $14.
Well, the price is the two different.
That's
things.
different. That's different. Yeah, that's different.
That's different.
You got to pay for quality.
Yes.
Y'all tell me what's a good pizza spot in New York. Corey, all y'all like, please let me know. You gotta go to Buffalo and all that.
Buffalo.
Been all through the Bronx and shit. Like, what a good pizza at, bro.
Shout out to Benny the Butcher. You could really get good pizza anywhere.
Anyway, that's
you can get pizza anywhere. New York is known.
Everybody say I'm bugging. Y'all ain't named 3 places yet. Tell me. I gotta go to Parsippany to get fire pizza. Where I gotta go?
They put it in the chat.
Oh man, there you go. Pizza Wars.
Now I know where you stand.
Pizza Wars.
Funny.
Chill. Somebody said Gun Hill Road. That next Gun Hill, yeah, they got some good pizza up in the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx.
Shout out to the Bronx, man.
Not the safest place to get the.
No, I ain't going to Gun Hill Road. I'm good.
Shout out to 219. Shout out to my what's that spot called?
The Jamaican spot?
Not Golden. It's not Golden Crust. What is it?
I don't know. That's just
219 in White Plains. I forgot the name.
You put
Rashad, what's your favorite pizza place in New York?
My favorite pizza place in New York? Well, you know, I'm vegan right now, so I don't eat pizza.
FCK Pizza franchise coming soon.
Once I got educated on dairy, I got educated on dairy, and that's a whole different conversation. But
you feel like a warrior too, ain't it?
Yeah, well, you know,
you've been posting like crazy last 5 days.
We're the only animals that drink other animals' milk. It's not healthy.
Who's gonna say this? Gold Star. That's the name of it. Gold Star.
Yeah.
219.
Well, we can have a whole vegan conversation.
Yeah, that's a high level conversation.
Very high level conversation. Let's get Janet on. Janet, how are you?
Yeah, of course I know that. Shout out to Kingston Bakery on 225th, best patties in the country. That's not even they actually have an award for that. Best patties in the country.
How are you, Janet?
Hey, Janet.
Hi guys,
Hey,
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. We great. Just talking food.
Yeah, I know. You guys are not gonna be able to go to Chicago.
No.
It's scary.
Chicago's all love, man.
Chicago
We might have something big planned for Chicago. You never
Perhaps.
know. But every time that we've been to Chicago, it's always been love. We got a lot of friends out there, so you know. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sirski. But how are you?
I'm good. I have a lot going on. I looked at a house today, put an offer on a house last week. Just got a lot going on, but I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't want to jinx anything till things are closed. So, but yeah, I'm excited for the moves. I mean, I'm always looking. You never know when the right thing will come along. So, you know, I'm excited.
Just keep going. That's all. When we sign the dotted, we shall celebrate.
That's
exactly.
I'll keep you guys silence.
Yeah. So that's that. But let's get to these questions. I know the earners are excited tonight. We have Ryan Keppel up first. Unmute yourself, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it feels so good to be on the show. Thanks for having me. How y'all doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good, man. How you?
I'm pretty good. Side note, we actually met at the Detroit networking event last year. I got you guys on my YouTube channel, House Wine Right.
Sloppy Crab.
Shout out to Detroit.
Yeah,
shout
Detroit.
out to Ken.
Yeah, shout
Shout out to all of the guys in Detroit.
Chill.
Man. Chill. Detroit, one of my favorite places, man. Every time we go to Detroit, it's nothing but love. So
We shall be back.
oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Very shortly.
Of course.
You guys are everywhere.
Right. Yeah, it was a good vibe for sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
So my question is, I lost $15,000 trading options from November 2021 until now. I'm wondering how I can restart in this current market with $500.
Who want to go first? Because you know I'm gonna come with the doom and gloom. So
Oh no.
What? All right, you lost 15,000. Was it on multiple different trades? What was the
Yeah, what we short terming on?
short-term options, long-term options? You were shorting? Were you long? What was the deal?
I bought Microsoft. Okay, so I used the Thinkorswim platform, and I meant to purchase one contract,
gotcha.
but it would automatically set me to 10. So
Oh.
I believed in my trade. I bought it November 19th, and it was a 360 call at like 5:45, and like as the market fell, I dollar cost averaged down and kept investing and was just holding on to a losing trade.
In November.
Yeah.
So say the number of the call again. 5.
No, it's 360. 360 call.
360
was
call.
okay. Yep. I had a January 21st expiration date. It was a 360 call. My first 10 contracts I purchased was at 5:45, and I dollar cost average down, but the stock price never came. It never returned. So Mark Cuban said this before. He said, "Pigs get bears get fed, bulls get fed, and hogs get slaughtered." So I was that dumb money, and I got smoked. And I had a few other trades, but I think mostly, it came. I was taking most of that hit from that Microsoft call, and I had a few things I could probably email my transactions, but
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me come in with grace and help. So especially with Thinkorswim, you change your default setting to 1, because sometimes even if you just put in one contract, and for those of you who buy long term, if you don't hit enter after, it's going to move you to the default. Same thing on NinjaTrader. Like if you're trading futures, you maybe have a default of 15 or 20. Please be careful there. Number 2, for those of you that are trading, I would beg you every week on the show, call and ask for prices where to get in. Number 3, I gotta ask you, did you paper trade before you began taking these trades? And then I'll give you a answer at the end for what to do on how to make it back. But did you paper trade at all?
not before. No, not immediately. No, but afterwards, I learned how to. That thing feels different when you start losing that money. So it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than driving a car. Learning how to drive a semi. Like, I know we want to just hop in, and I know a lot of times it felt like when everybody was like, "Yo, you trade options, you can make 72,000%," and then all those people want to right. You want to at least take 50 practice trades to get familiar with the platform, get your strategy down, know what the risk to reward. Now, if you're starting over with $500, I will put that in long term, but I would practice trading until you get your win percentage up to 70 to 80%, and then I can show you how to get funding for trading after that. But I will say, I commend you for taking action and not being afraid, and not just sitting on the sideline. So I do have to give you credit for that. But I do want you guys to practice, because when you're using leverage, the job of the broker is to take your money, and if you don't have an informational edge on the thing about futures and options, when you're trading against everybody in the world. That's great. Day one. So imagine like this your first day at 3 years old playing basketball, and first game you going against KD, second game LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to have an edge. So number one, practice. Number two, make sure you have your strategy down. But make sure that you're practicing in your trades to get back on the saddle. So you get prepared for your next trade. And most importantly, you guys use me for prices. You don't have you don't make more money if you figure it out on your own. I'd rather just tell you, hey, buy here, get out at this time, list the price, and you profit opposed to going through these cycles of losing. So that's why I tell people 80% of the time, put the money in long term. You'll be good. But I'm proud of you nonetheless.
Yeah, I appreciate the honesty, Ryan. And I think it's going to make you a better investor. Because number one, like most people, and they lose that type of money, they're like, I lost it, I'm never going back. And you're like, wait, I'm going to go back in, but I'm going back in with 5. Like, I'm just starting over, which says a lot about, your mindset, right? Like, you didn't give up on this. But you're going to learn a lot from this, right? Like, hey, like Ian just said, you're going to set the limit at 1. You might look at it and say, you know what? I've done 3 months on my options. Let me go out. Let me have my leaps out a little further, right? So that I can have more time to K on the contract itself. So there's a lot to be learned, but the most important part is that you didn't give up, right? And you could have easily. And so I encourage you to keep going. And then look at the prices, right? So when you got it in November, it was over at 300. It was almost at its all-time high.
Yep.
And so so to say that, all right, it's at 349, I'm gonna do a 360 call. Now you're like, hey, this has to go up by another 10 to 15% when it's already at its all-time high. It's one of those things that like Shotty likes to do, is to be close to the money. But I mean, we couldn't predict the pullback, but we can kind of sense that something was going to be coming. Well, Ian did say a pullback was coming. So even that, like learning, like, all right, well, let's see where the actual asset is right now. Where's its all-time high? Where's the low? Where's the support? Where's the resistance? All these things, like, it's a tough lesson to learn, but hopefully you learn it, because the next time you invest, you're going to have that in the toolbox and say, all right, well, I'm prepared. I've been through here. And it's tough, right? Like, I always tell it to people, like when they have stories like this, I'm like, you have to go through some things so you can learn. Like, I well documented, lost money in DraftKings, but I learned so much from
Never
it.
make
Like,
the mistake again.
I had to, like, it was almost like, wow, I'm glad I did, because I learned so much from that experience. And so hopefully this is what's going to happen for you, and it's going to turn out in the long run. And I'm sure it will. If you're going to be investing long term, there's going to be a lot more brighter days.
Yeah, the crazy part, when you have these losses, I've said it before, it feels like God downloads everything that you should have done into your brain. And I'll say this too, like, this is not egotistical, but I'm begging you guys, like, if you're watching the show and if I've made you money, let me help you on the trading part too, because there's a lot of people that are talking about technical and then we're bleeding past levels. Like, okay, put yes in chat when I said Bitcoin 20,000 at 55. You like, Ian lost his shit. He was good in 2020, and now we can't crack 20. Like, if people were not talking about this prior to 2020 and they was working at Shake Shack 2019, how did they become an expert in 2 years on it? Everybody who talk about it not equal. I'm saying that, and I'm not moving off that post.
And Ryan, here's the beautiful thing, right? Since you're on this side, you're on a Zoom call. We have classes every Monday, every Tuesday. So shout out to Chris. That's a perfect place for beginners and for people who have some experience to even learn more. Like, I'm in there. I know my brother, a lot of people are in that class learning. So that's definitely a place you should, and definitely a resource you should use to your advantage.
And we have several videos on YouTube about options. But ultimately, I think that, you never want to risk too much of your portfolio, especially when you start with options, because, it does give you a lot of leverage and you can make a lot of money, but it is extremely volatile and a lot of things are out of your control and you can lose a lot of money also. So just keep that in mind. I know that was a mistake, but you wanted to get one contract and you got 10. But you probably don't want to risk more than 10% of your portfolio on options. One, and two, like all things, the more you do it, the more you feel comfortable and the better as you get. So even if you start out with something, you don't always have to swing for the fences. Like, you can start out with an option trade for a couple $100 and just to kind of get your feet wet, just to kind of, figure it out, learn, and you lose a couple $100, it's not going to, kill you. So just different things of that nature. And that's just for anybody in general that just wants to get into trading, option trading. Like, start with something that you can afford to lose. Start small, learn, continuously, up your education, continuously learn. And, the more you do it, the more you'll feel comfortable, the better that you'll get. But you don't want to go into it just swinging for the fences, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to swing out. You're going to strike out. It's like, going to the major leagues. If you never played a game ever, and then you just swinging at 90 mile per hour fastballs,
it's going to be tough.
You probably going to end up striking out. So
this is a question for every trader. As soon as you take a trade, ask yourself, what information do I have that Michael Burry, Kathy Wood, Warren Buffett, Einhorn, Tepper does not have that will allow me to beat them? If you don't have a clear answer in one sentence, don't take the trade. Because you're competing against all the best people on earth day one. Like follow that, because it's really about who has the best information. And that's why I'd be so big on, like, and I love Michael. I think Michael Saylor was like one of the most innovative people to use this strategy. But look how they ran his fund down. And they're going to clear like 2 or 3 more hedge funds out. And then Bitcoin will be back at 35,000. A lot of times, like when you're buying, you have to say, is this the price that's absolute at the bottom where I won't bleed out? Because a lot of times they just got Bitcoin down low enough to knock him out of the market. Now, what did Michael and Kathy do? They brought validity to Bitcoin, but don't get any of the benefit for being advocates of Bitcoin. It's going to be Bank of America and BlackRock and Vanguard and Citadel. And in 10 years, you guys will look back at this and be like, damn, Ian was saying all this crazy stuff. And now there won't be anybody major in crypto that is leading the charge on Bitcoin. It's going to be all hedge funds. So make sure when you get in, you're at the absolute best price, and find out what information on edge you have over hedge funds. If not, and last point, please select the number of trades that you're going to do a year. Most of you guys should not be doing more than 8 per year.
Gotcha.
Appreciate you, Ryan.
Appreciate you, brother. All right. Okay, Janet, a few more, please.
All right, Aramia, mute yourself, please.
Hi, am I coming through clear?
Yes. How are you?
Thirsty.
Beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you. It's Arhemia. Thank you very much. So number one, Invest Fest was a movement. Really appreciate the energy. It was a sight to be seen, to see all those beautiful people doing beautiful things. Last Monday, Rashad, you mentioned learning how to scale your business without venture capital, angel investors, and selling equity. Can you expound on that a little bit more in ways to make that achievable, more specifically with businesses that are selling a service and not a product?
Yeah, for sure. Well, welcome to the chat. Long-time friend of the family. So yes, welcome to the chat. I think it's the first time I heard you call in. But what services are you talking about specifically?
Well, I personally, me and my business partner, we have an app that we're developing that is going to, change the world, as one has said. And we've been in process. Everyone who's trying to build an app, no, it's not an easy feat. You just have companies that you have to work with and trust and know what they're doing. But at some point in time, once the app is functional and we have user experience, we're looking to scale it and actually bring ownership to ourselves and take back our, migrate it to our own systems. But as of now, in the process of not really having a great deal of user experience and not having a great deal of capital that we're personally putting forward. And, we got our business loans and such, but we're trying to figure out how to scale it. And you made a good point about not always looking out for venture capital and angel investors, because they do want a share of your profits. But to Tyler Perry's point, he said that he had to kind of get out of that mind frame of not wanting to share a portion of his company. But how do we go about doing that? How does one get funding without going to the big boys and throwing a pitch?
Well, I think that, and I'm glad you asked that, because I'd like to always put comments in context. I'm not necessarily saying that angel investing in venture capital is bad, because I do think that it could be very beneficial and very useful, especially for tech companies that need to raise a lot of money. I just feel that a lot of times people think that that's the only way to kind of get your company off the ground. And it's just not true. And like I said, depending on what kind of company that you have, tech companies, they usually need a lot more capital, and they're usually not profitable early on. So that's why they rely on venture capital a lot more, as opposed to like us, we're in the media space. So, we were able to become profitable a lot quicker and run a much leaner operation with a lot lower overhead. So, we don't have the same need for capital. But there's venture capital that makes sense, and there's venture capital that doesn't make sense. There's angel investing that makes sense. There's angel investing that doesn't make sense. Equity crowdfunding is something that has become very popular over the last couple of years, and that's a way that a lot of entrepreneurs have started to raise some money. We just talked to Isaac Hayes the third, and he was on equity crowdfunding. So the equity crowdfunding, that's a way where you still have some equity that you're giving up, but it's not the same demands, and it's not the same percentages a lot of times that venture capital gives up. But also I think that even tech companies should be tied to something that can have a revenue play early. That's just especially Black people, because let's be honest, no matter how good the product is, you're probably not going to get the same level of venture capital or angel investment capital that white people are going to get. Just Don People said that. So you have to have something that's tied to something that's gonna make money early, as opposed to something that isn't gonna be profitable for 10 years. Because we don't have the same luxury, unfortunately, but it's just the reality. We don't have the same luxury of failing, because a lot of these companies are really failing companies, but they're just getting propped up because they're getting so much capital put into them that you give money for 10 years, you're going to make money eventually. You have no choice. You got to be like the worst business manager in the world not to make money if you're getting hundreds of $millions poured into you. But I mean, for us, I can only speak for our personal experience. How we were able to do it was to, provide a service that is easy to be monetized. Like anybody can go on YouTube, anybody can go on Apple, Spotify. It's not really hard to create content and to monetize content. And it's also very easy to create, content with very low overhead. When we first started, we were just using iPhones, which that's really not
I would challenge that. It's hard for most people to monetize.
Well, it's hard, but it's hard.
It's not as difficult in comparison.
Exactly. Like, what I'm saying? Like the barrier to do it. Yeah, of course, it's not easy to have, a number one podcast. That's not easy, but it's not hard to monetize once you get up and running. The merch is something that we did, that's supplement. So a lot of things that we did was to supplement, right? So it's like, all right, even if we weren't making money from the show, which we weren't making money from the show for a while, now we had to supplement that with other streams of income. So spinoffs, merch was something that became very big for us. And then once we see that, okay, events is something that we can do. So the events became something that we can do. And then, we discovered Patreon. Then we discovered, okay, this is a way to actually have more hands-on learning with EYL University. So for us, it was just creating different verticals where, let's say the main focus is to create a media company, and the main focus is to get paid from Earn Your Leisure. But let's say that we had a plan where we weren't going to receive any revenue from that for 10 years. We could still be okay because, we just created different verticals off of that was creating revenue streams. And then, of course, it was a matter of us just reinvesting the money and being our own bank. To this day, we've never taken out a loan, and we've never taken money from outside investors. So all of the capital has been reinvested, and then we just use our own money to scale up. So that's how we've been able to scale from an equipment standpoint. Like, we started with one microphone, we got a better microphones, better cameras, but this is all our own money out of our own pocket. And then, of course, once we just discovered business credit, now we use the Amex cards, different things of that nature. But it's still, to this day, the operation is still self-funded, and I feel like that gives us a lot of leverage. But in the tech space, it might be harder because it's going to be a lot more money. But even like what John Henry was saying with the tech, a lot of times people think the venture capital, they look at it the wrong way. Like they look at it like from the beginning stages, like I have an idea, and it's like you got to actually already have an up and running product a lot of times before you even go to venture capital, before they even find it appealing. So that's something that a lot of times people have a misconception about. Like they'll put together a plan and like, this is my plan. But, they're going to want to see something that's already up and running, that's actually working. And then it's like, all right, for there. So whether it's crowdfunding, whether it's family and friends, seed round raise, whether it's, taking money from retirement, HELOCs, when you're a business owner, you got to kind of figure it out. Yeah, it's no sense. Credit, leveraging credit. It's not always the best way because sometimes you put yourself in situations where you have, debt, but ultimately it's just a matter of just figuring it out and seeing how you can make it work. But I'm a real big proponent in keeping operations as low as possible as far as overhead, especially early on. And also having multiple streams of income. So even if you don't have multiple streams of income from your business, keep a job. Like I would never recommend somebody quit their job until they're up and running and they're very, very, comfortable with their business, because that job is going to give you a lot of comfort, because there's ups and downs in business and you might not make any money at all. But at least if you have some money coming in from a guaranteed paycheck, then that's going to give you a lot more stability.
And I'll say this as well too. You've been tuning into the show, and it's for everyone who's listening. I don't know why you guys don't pitch us. If I were you,
I'm happy to. Trust me.
What? Okay, tell me.
Don't think I'm not.
Okay, what's the annual recurring revenue for the app if you receive funding?
Well, yeah, that's the point. That's where I am right now. We're still trying to get the app to where it's functional so that we can get proper usage. I mean, we have the numbers worked out in forecast, but that means nothing if we don't have an operational product. You know what I'm saying?
How much do you need in terms of investment, and what market do you serve?
Well, we do serve, without giving too much detail, I happily go about it in private, but it's an app for parking, which you all know is at an all-time premium in many states. So we've worked, my business partner, we worked on a model to where we can have people benefit from the act of, sharing parking spaces with one another and things of that nature. So we were dealing with this company prior COVID, and we're still working through the kinks and the bugs and all that stuff, because when creating an app, one thing goes right, 10 things go wrong, and X, Y, and Z. So that's where we are right now. And we've had opportunities, not to brag a little bit, but just on the perfunctory level of just having our app, we got to the second round of Shark Tank, but they said we were too early.
How much capital do you need?
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, how much capital, and then I guess the capital is going to be for the infrastructure of continuously building out the app, or is it for marketing and building a team?
It's right now we have the money covered for building out the app, but once it goes and it hits, and it's going to hit hard, the company that we're using will not be able to keep up with demand. So we're thinking ahead in regards to how we're going to market it. Say again?
So you're going to need 2 times the amount of money. How much capital do you need?
Initially right now, I can throw out a number. It needs to be massaged a little bit, but we're not 100K, sounds doable in our eyes where we can bring something forward. But again, I don't want to give concrete numbers because I don't have concrete numbers to give, and I don't want to talk one thing and then ask for something else. And I don't want to lowball myself either.
Yeah, but do you have a 5-year or 4-year forecast for what sales could be if you had?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are those?
It's looking from what we're seeing, it can really go into the millions. It really can, only because of the model that we set up. And again, it's very hard for me to be very cryptic when you're asking me these questions on such a large.
And you're in a public forum. I get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm on some NDA stuff. I'm from New York. We're very leery.
As you should be.
Rightfully so.
Troy Rashad, can we set up a meeting and sit down?
Yeah, Jan, we have the name, so we can find the email easily.
And me and Charlie go way back, so our families are, that's not my goal was to get to talk to you, but I don't want to talk to you unless I got something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. I don't want to waste time.
So let's do that. Let's set up a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And let's see. Maybe we could be Shark Tank in this situation.
We could be partners.
I like that idea. Thank you very much.
But yeah, for everyone in the audience,
have a good night.
See us, and I love you changed my life, made me money. If you have an idea, you should pitch though. Like that's why I told a lot of you at InvestFest, come with your deck because it may be that one chance you get and it may work. Always be prepared. Practice your pitch, know your numbers down. Because if the numbers are strong enough, for me, if I can put $1 in and get 11 out, or put $1 in and get 100 out, I'll write you a check instantly. Instantly. Have your numbers down. Even when I talk to people about investing and like, hey, if I gave you this, what could I get? I'm telling you, worst case, best case scenario, how long, how many minutes it'll take per trade for me to get there. The more you have your numbers down, the more confidence you'll pull out of an investor. So
yeah, it sounds pretty good. I can't wait to hear the rest. Yeah, shout out to her.
Market Mondays. You never know what can happen on Market
you
Mondays.
never know.
You never know.
Do you guys want to take one more question?
Yeah, let's do one more before we wrap. Good show. Good flow.
Blake, unmute yourself, please. We are coming to you.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Great. How you doing, Blake?
Pretty good. So I want to open up a care facility for the elderly. We would take care of people that are 62 and over and just deliver like their activities of daily living. So I was wondering, if we're making profit and we have an emergency fund, would it be a good idea to invest that into the market?
Great question. What is your profit margins on the business?
Well, I haven't even started it yet, but I was an administrator for one, and I had to go get another job because he wasn't paying enough. So I'm a custodian now, but I'm very, very passionate about this, and I spent a lot of time by myself just thinking about it and planning and coming up with something.
Yeah. Are you the sole partner in, or do you have another partner in the business with you?
Well, we want to open up an LLC, and since I don't have like a lot of experience, I wanted to bring my my mother-in-law in. She already has a couple of them, and bring her in as a partner, so we could just work together to build something.
So you're going to take the profits from the business and then want to invest it in a brokerage account?
Yeah, I was wondering if that would be a good idea, or after I have my emergency fund, should there be other things that I should prepare for and then start doing that? Or is that something that I can do after I have my emergency fund?
Yeah, our CPA actually recommended that. That was one of those things that I kind of learned. It was like investing in your LLC and not doing it from an individual brokerage, right? When you get to a certain point, you want to make sure you can protect your assets. And so if something's in your name in the event of a lawsuit, that any type of profit that's inside of that brokerage account is susceptible to be, seized as well. So having a brokerage in your LLC's name is important, and it can protect you from that. So that's one thing. As far as the emergency fund, I mean, business can be volatile too. And so to invest a part of the emergency fund.
No, I think you said after the emergency
fund.
So I feel like, yeah, of course, after you have an emergency fund, after you always want to keep some money in the business because, you have to, it's dependent on how much money you want to put in. But yeah, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to be able to invest. Mm-hmm. So the short answer I would say is yes.
Yes. Because
that's the whole point, right? You want to be able to invest your surplus. You just want to make sure that, you're not running on very thin margins because anything can happen in business. So, you want to have, money in the bank saved, and you want to always keep some money in the business account for unexpected expenses, because there are always going to be problems in business.
Something that pops up.
There's always going to be issues. There's always going to be people that, unexpected employees that are sick and can't work, and you got to get somebody else, and something breaks down and different things of that nature. But, once you get a nice swing of it and you kind of know, okay, I need to keep $15,000 in the bank account at all times, or 50, whatever it is. And then it's like, all right, I'm making $300,000 a month. Now, that gives you a lot more flexibility, and you can say, okay, I can invest now. So, but each business is different, but as a business owner, you'll kind of know. It's like parenting. There's really no set rules to being a parent. But after a while, you start to learn your child, and you say, okay, you feel comfortable with him going out, set curfew, different things of that nature. So once you really get the hang of your business and your industry, and you're in it every single day, you'll know how much money you need to keep in. you'll feel comfortable knowing how much money you can invest, and you can always make adjustments. If you invest in 20% of your income, things go good, you can invest 50% of income, and then things go bad, then you might have to cut back and invest 5% or not invest at all for a little bit of time. But you'll be able to figure it out on the fly. But you should always go into it thinking that you're going to invest a surplus, because that's the whole point.
And another investment can be the scaling part of your business, right? Like you said that you're doing this now. This could be in one local neighborhood, but if the business runs well enough, is it something that we can put in other neighborhoods and other communities as well? And so like that becomes an investment too. Now you have more of a surplus to actually put inside that brokerage. So there's plenty of things you can do.
Two things: has to be quality, no gambles, no. I know the apes are back in full charge. No AMC, no GameStop. Has to be quality. Number two, if you are going to run a business, you have to make sure that you have ways for the business to make money, regardless if primary revenue comes from the business or not. Meaning, like for me, hypothetically, that's the one thing I love about trading and long-term investing. If no one ever buys from me ever again, I can still generate money. The number one thing, because clients are not going to be loyal. Business partners can do wrong. They can steal, they can rob, things like you want to prepare for everything that can go wrong. Set a percentage that you're going to invest into the market, into quality. One of the best decisions that you're going to make is to be able to invest profit, invest heavily into a company. And remember, like in 2020, I was saying, like buying the best companies in the world is like having the best CEO work for you. So if you're buying Apple, Google, Bitcoin, Ethereum at great prices, at some point that profit is going to be easier than the actual business profit. That's what you want. Like, so technically, like if you look at Berkshire Hathaway with all the companies that he owns, Berkshire technically can never go out of business because they have Geico. So there's a certain percentage of reserves he can take out of those premiums and invest over and over again. So even if everybody left Berkshire, he can replenish that. And that's where you want to be. It's like, even if you are not at full capacity in these homes or in these rental spaces, you're still making money hand over fist. That's the ultimate business to be in. And think about it like this. Back to Michael Saylor, back to Kathy Wood. If they would have just invested in 2 Tech, 2 Index, while investing in all the other stuff, they will still be afloat today. Going back to just having one strategy. Like, one in business is the worst number of all. So,
okay.
Appreciate you, Blake.
Appreciate
Hey,
you.
Oh, he got cut off. Guidelines. You
Damn.
can pay to ask a second question on Market Mondays and pay to be on Earn Your Leisure.
Guidelines.
To be on the show.
I think he unmuted himself again. Back.
Oh, Blake, appreciate you, bro.
It's for the kids, man. It's for the kids. I'm a custodian over at an elementary school, and I kind of want to like share this with the kids because I see how important it is. But I'm only able to spend a little bit of time with them during lunch, so I would need to give like a quick, maybe 5-10 minute.
Do 1 minute lesson. Kid don't want to hear 10 minutes. I'm being real with you.
Bro, you would be surprised. There's so many kids that are interested in.
Yeah, after school program, man.
Girls.
After school program. That's easy. Or even create a weekend program, right? Like I know a lot of people in the custodians that they usually are there in the buildings on Saturdays. Y'all know what rooms are available. You know the equipment's available. You know no teachers are there, so you have access to all the classrooms. So even create a Saturday program, even if it's not you that's running it, you know the basis of the information and have somebody come in. I'm sure any principal, if you tell them that this is what you want to present, I mean, the weekends are always a great place. Most people just use it like, yo, can we use your gym to practice in? But no, we could use the classrooms too during the weekend.
Right, yeah. All right, thank you.
No problem, bro.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Homework assignment for everyone. If China's going to collapse next year, what are the 3 ETFs that we can trade and short to the downside to take advantage of China's falling apart? Tune in next week where I have more hot takes. We are your ally in this falling market.
Next week, we're showing up as the Cash Money Brothers. No G Money shit.
Very important.
All we got is us.
Very important. InvestFest Europe. Get your tickets. Halloween, London. One night only. Legendary. Royal Albert Hall. Shout out to all the UK. Massive. Shout out to everybody in Europe, all over the continent. We are coming full steam, bringing all of our friends from America and some special guests from
You
Europe.
announced anybody yet?
I think the usual suspects we can announce because that's confirmed. So 19 Keys, Wall Street Trapper,
Yes.
MG the Mortgage Guy, EYL, Ian Dunlap. That's safe. That's safe to announce.
Yeah. The Rebellion. I need 500 of y'all. Show up.
We'll start there.
At least.
More to come.
Yes. Been real. Market Mondays, Cultural Phenomenon. We have some stuff that we will be announcing shortly. Market Monday specifically.
Oh, baby.
Yes.
Yep.
Scale. It's called scaling.
Yep.
Scaling.
Yeah. Yep. In a major way.
You have to scale. You always have to scale, and you can never get satisfied.
Yep.
And consistency is extremely important. And I was thinking about that when I was coming here because we did the Guys Next Door podcast. Shout out to them. Running around.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was dope.
Dope.
Super
Fun.
good dudes,
A lot of
man.
fun.
They good dudes. I like them a lot. So, and it was so crazy because I was just thinking about it. You just reflect on your life sometimes, and I'm like, what's the key to success? People always ask you, what's the key to success? And it's like, for me, I had a revelation, and it's like, you have to be able to do the same thing every day. You have to be able to do the same thing all day, every day, for every day. So it's like, I've been doing the same thing for 5 years, every day. It's not easy. It's not easy. Not easy. 95% of people will get eliminated just off of consistency. It's extremely hard to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely hard to be consistent. It's not easy to do the same thing all day, every day.
Yep.
For every day.
And how many people do you think had the same potential or maybe were better? Like there's other people like I'm seeing like Loon get hot. Same thing, just putting out content, seeing Chad 85, them arenas they hitting. I'm like, oh baby. That is the key. Prices. You guys ask me how you make your own crystal ball. Study the market 12 hours a day. Yeah. You guys see, I wanted to go out at InvestFest. Couldn't do it. I was thinking, but there's a bunch of people at that party who would rather be on stage after Tyler Perry. I can't drop the ball. If I deliver, put yes in chat. I'll go get the Kanye mask right now. Yeezy, I need you. Don C, what we doing? I got one of the top 5 performances this year in any genre. Stop playing with me. UTA, what we doing? CA, what we doing? Live Nation. Hey, boy. Hey, now. This is entertainment. Might clip this up.
Gotta believe it though. No, you gotta believe it. It's very important to believe it, and it's very important. It's very important to have confidence in yourself because that's going to get you through when nobody else believes in you. And people always ridicule you when you say something until it actually happens, and then everybody champions that. So that's something that I've always done that. Like I said, my drip journey has been documented, and
tell them about that. You got to speak shit into existence. Like when I was like, yo, I'm the greatest investor of this era, people was like, crazy.
Yeah.
You got to speak that shit into existence.
Yeah, you do. You do. Very important.
Then got to deliver. Like,
you got to deliver.
Troy showed y'all at Market Mondays Live. That boy put up some numbers on that billboard.
Oh, we got new numbers. Big numbers.
Oscar Robertson.
We're still at it. We're still at it. Yeah, but you got to speak into existence, and you got to support each other, man. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things they said. They was like, yo, when Shaggy said he's a fashion icon, you just looked like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, why not? Of course he is. He didn't say of course he is. Why not? I believe in him. Believe in each other, man. You got to have that like unquestionable, undeniable faith in each other, man. Like that's for sure. Like he says he's something. Yes, he is. And don't even question it again. Because I'm going to tell you the same thing.
Speaking of this drip journey situation, we're going somewhere with this. We're not just talking about fashion randomly.
No, we're not.
We're about to do something historic. We're about to do like 5 historic things in the course of the next 3 months.
We're going for a world record of
Yes.
historic events.
Hat trick.
How many sold out dates can we have? How many historic things can we do?
Can we tell them about the thing so they can get their things together?
London.
That we can talk about.
Pack your bags.
That we can talk about.
London, pack your bags.
Shout out to the team at Tape London.
Tape London. Tape London.
That is one place that you would be able to perhaps see us.
Yes, good
Perhaps.
people. They're the ones that actually set this whole thing up for us. It's good relationships. Once again, relationships. We're not from the UK, so we don't have those relationships, but we established a relationship with Tape. Shout out to Jamal. He was the first person to make that relationship for us. And then they were so impressed with everything that happened, and then they worked it out for us to get the Royal Albert Hall. That's not easy to get. It's a very, very prestigious venue, and it's not like a lot of big artists can't perform at the Royal Albert Hall. So, you know, we were able to secure that venue because of our relationship with Tape. So, yeah, one door opens another door. Very, very important to establish and keep good relationships, because you never know. You never know, and you don't know who we know.
Yeah, that part.
You don't. You really don't.
I'll tell you who we do know. Good folks over at Ally. Let me talk to you real quick. We got a great choice if you're looking to bank or invest. Ally is a leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service and is relentlessly focused on doing it right for both customers and our communities. Ally has given our Market Mondays viewers and listeners a special offer on ally.com/EYL so that you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter most to you. Again, that's ally.com/EYL. For everything we need, we're all better off with an Ally. Securities, products, and services are offered through Ally Invest Securities, LLC, member of FINRA, SIPC. Shout out to the good folks over there.
Love them.
Somebody said y'all should do Jacob Javison in New York. Jacob Javison not big enough. Respectfully.
Big Fendi.
Respectfully. Super respectfully.
Yeah, super
But if we do something in New York, maybe one of these pizza places can sponsor.
Now we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Now, the Italian food in New York, fire.
You really trying to play our pizza though?
Send me. I've been in New York 22 times last 2 years.
Next time you come.
Nah, that's what we're gonna eat then. I got you.
Next time you come. Oh, shout out to 19 Keys and Ronnie Brown. High level conversation. That was a very important episode. Extremely important. It's going viral, and that's a very important conversation.
Absolutely.
That they had. So I suggest everybody listen to that episode. Very, very. All his episodes is great, but that one, I actually was listening to it in the car, and it's very insightful. It's very healthy, and it's needed. It's needed because there's a lot of toxic messages around relationships, men and women. So I thought that they had a very healthy dialogue, a man and a woman speaking. It was extremely insightful, enlightful, very good. So check out High Level Conversations on our YouTube channel, all podcast outlets. Shout out to 19 Keys.
Run it up.
He is on fire right now.
Run it up.
He's on fire.
Yeah, run it up.
He's on fire.
Fire.
Next year, we need to do 3 dates and run the table, though. I know we're going to be respectful 2022. Next year, we need to drop 3 dates. You know, Joe was talking about the Pod Wars. Hey.
Shout out to Ish.
Shout out to Ish.
Invest Fest Ish.
Corey, my dog.
Shout out to Ish.
Next year, though, we'll run the table and announce 4 or 5 things.
Joe mentioned Invest Fest 27 times, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to
I told my dog to come. He should have hit Yacht Party, then Invest Fest. You missed out. Come on, come through.
Shout out to Joe, man. Shout out to all the podcasts that's out there doing their thing.
They're all dope.
85 South, $1 Million Worth of Game, Joe Button Podcast, Guys Next Door, Horrible Decisions.
It's up there. Lone cooking, boy.
Lone.
Yeah,
that's my guy. I gotta call him.
Cooking.
That's my guy.
I clipped this up. Lone gonna be the new Texto.
That's my guy. When's our episode dropping, Lone? You recorded that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sitting on that right now, but I like your social media clips with the Law and Order gavel.
Yeah, go follow him.
Yeah, shout out to Lone. Good dude too.
You're waiting on
he was at Invest Fest.
He's waiting on it.
Good dude, man. Good.
Oh, shout out to Drink Champs too. I see somebody put Drink Champs. Shout out to Nori and EFN.
Rants and Gems, Ash Cash, Inside the Vault. You know, it's a lot of good programming out there right now. That's doing it. Dave Shan.
How many profitable podcasts? I'm gonna bring this up every quarter.
How many are profitable?
We need a Forbes list for podcasts. I'm gonna start that campaign tomorrow.
You're gonna be surprised. They're gonna be surprised.
The ones we just named.
I think we got them all.
For our culture, at least. I don't know about the other podcasts.
Joe. Yeah. Oh, nah. Shout out to B Simone too. Her podcast is doing well.
Is it?
She cooking.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
I forget. She's with her best friend, but it's moving. It's moving. It's definitely moving. Shout out to them.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. But you know, there's a lot of podcasts out there that's doing their thing. But you know.
Shout out to China falling apart next year. I'm gonna let you skate out of that.
Budgetnista got a dope show too.
Yeah.
Shout out to yep.
We don't got to do the parks outside combo. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep it clean. Let me be the villain. Let me be the bad guy.
And next week on Market Mondays.
Yes, Sirski.
How Shep was hooping corduroy pants and scored 25 points in a butter rim.
That's hard to figure out.
Come on,
man.
What was Shep? He was trying to clap the back. What happened right there?
I don't know.
He clapped the backboard broke. He fell off the roof.
Shout out to a butter rim.
19 Keys does not follow my non-controversial guidelines.
No,
he's extremely controversial.
Yeah,
it's more value in being controversial.
Every chance he gets.
The Hoochie Daddy shorts. He did not shy away from that conversation at all. He went in on the conversation. Actually, I would have stayed away from it. That was me personally.
Why?
Because non-controversial, very important to be non-controversial.
Yeah, I'm not.
You can offend. You offend.
Yeah.
The problem with being controversial is that you're gonna offend a lot of people.
But the ones that rock with you are going to be more.
Talk that shit, man. Talk that shit.
Yeah.
It depends on what value you bring, but like when people get to playing it too safe, it's a sign that they're not free and don't bring any value.
Well, the thing is, I think it's important to be. We live in a world where everybody has sharp opinions, and that's one thing that I wanted to do with EYL is not to be an opinion-based platform. Yeah. I wanted to be a platform to provide information and then let people decide their opinions, because we have opinions, but it's not. I don't feel it's my role or my responsibility to implement my way of thinking or my opinions on somebody else. I feel like people are smart enough where they can make their own decisions, and there's enough there's enough platforms where everybody's going to give you their take. You go to Fox News, it's going to be all Republican. You go to CNBC or CNN, MSNBC, it's going to be all Democrat. Where's the middle of the road that's non-biased? Where's the non-biased perspective? So EYL is a safe space and it's non-biased.
I think but also back to the point I made earlier, people can get lied to so much that they think the truth is controversial. Like even with those biases, and we see it with ESPN and the Kyrie, Durant, LeBron, Jordan conversation, like people are not giving facts.
But there's really no truth. Very few things are true.
Not true.
Only like the obvious stuff of fire is hot. Okay, that's true. But
Bitcoin going to 20,000 when it was at 60.
It's right up there.
But most of the stuff in the world is an opinion. Most of the stuff in the world is an opinion. There's really no true facts.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Like Hoochie Daddy shorts. That's an opinion.
That's an opinion.
That's an opinion.
But that's like,
what's a true fact? Like I said, the obvious.
Who owns a trademark on the term Hoochie Daddy? Let's get to the business.
Who owns I don't know who owns the trademark.
That's what I want to talk about. Like I don't want us to get so high.
I haven't used the term. I haven't used the term. I'm not sure. Like you use that term?
Hoochie Daddy. Everyone looking, it's already trademarked.
I'm sure somebody trademarked it.
You use it in conversation, like
Hoochie Daddy. No. I don't refer to any man as a Hoochie Daddy. But if that's what you're into.
Yeah, I never used it in conversation. I've never heard you use it. I was just.
I would never use it.
Or even describing a piece of clothing.
No.
Don't Bobby Smurda got a Hoochie Daddy song?
He does. He does.
South of Brooklyn.
Where he get his pizza from?
Patsy's.
Oh man.
No pun intended.
19 Keys says a lot of things that he says a lot of things that are very true. He's like Kevin Samuels.
Rest in
He
peace.
says the things that you might be thinking, but you're not going to say it because it's politically incorrect.
Speaking your mind is a sign of freedom. Most people don't speak their mind because they don't have enough money to do so.
Well, that's true on a certain level, but then also some people just don't want to offend people.
That's also true.
That's also true also.
Yeah, you want to hear our opinion? Pull up with me and Shotty in a random parking lot at like midnight or something, and we and him go at it all night. Ian, you've been witness to it. I'm not Janet, you probably haven't been witness to it, but that'll be our opinion. we do that all day.
Yeah,
but that's not this. This is a safe place for people to learn, get educated, hear information, execute on information, and share information with each other.
BYO is a safe place, but there's room for opinion-based shows. So like 19 Keys, we don't try to control the creatives. So you can't control 19 Keys. You just gotta let him be. Ian,
I don't find him disrespectful though. I think
no. I didn't say he was disrespectful. I'm just saying like I'm just saying he's opinion-based. So your opinion could potentially be disrespectful to somebody, right? Because it's an opinion. So it's not disrespectful to me.
Yeah. But if the whole
offensive to somebody,
I can argue too, if the entire world likes you, you really don't have a brand. Let's be real honest. Apple for 85% of its career was only liked amongst 15 to 20% of the people. In fact, like before it was like Pro Tools use, people thought Apple was going to fall apart. Google same way, Tesla same way, Bitcoin same way. Like every cult or tribe, you have to have a core base first. And even the haters or non-advocates of your brand end up making the brand bigger. At some point, the truth is going to hit people hard in the face, and they're going to like. That's why I love when I give these facts and people say it's not true, and I'm like, based on what data? Because you don't say Citadel, Guggenheim, Josh Brown, anybody saying that I'm wrong, and I'm calling these people's name out publicly when you guys know I can get a cease and desist if I'm wrong. There ain't been one strike down on none of the shit I said. There's value in both as long as you tell the truth. I think the issue with media and podcasts, too many people are giving opinions and not facts. And that's why a lot of these media companies are falling apart. And a lot of these podcasts, not profitable.
Well, that's a different conversation. The profitability of it.
Bring some real value and quit talking about opinion. Don't nobody want to hear what y'all ate on Saturday. Like, bring some real value to the table. People are hurting, are starving. They don't want to hear your gossip. Shout out to the women who be clowning when they see brothers like have microphones. And there's value in podcasting and the entertainment side, but you need more than that. You got to bring some real value to the table.
Time for high-level conversations.
High-level conversations.
More of them.
Well, it's working.
Yep.
And like I said, shout out to 19 Keys. He's mastered what he does, and he's a very intelligent person. So he knows what he's doing.
Stay tuned.
He knows what he's doing. Don't try to copy what he's doing.
You can't. It's too
that's when you end up hurting yourself.
Yeah. That archetype is always, even in comedy, George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, this current iteration of Dave Chappelle is high-level conversation at scale. Alex Jones, before he went bad crazy, he was a version of that. Like that intellectual broadcaster, there is an archetype for that. That's always worked. Truth telling is not popular when money is flowing easily. When the world starts to fall apart, people want the truth.
The truth will set you free.
Yep.
What will a lie do?
I was just gonna say that. Shout out to SB.
Shout out to SB.
914.
Yes. Well,
all right, folks.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been real. Be safe. Happy birthday. My nephew's birthday was yesterday. I forgot to mention that. Happy birthday to Miles Mace. Happy birthday. He turned 11 yesterday. Shout out to him. Happy birthday, my brother. My nephew. I said my brother. Shout out to his pops, to my brother.
Yes. Happy birthday, Renee, the president of the 50 Plus Club.
Hey,
Renee. Happy birthday.
Shout out to you.
Appreciate you.
Happy birthday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be on Dykeman this week. Playoffs.
It's this week?
Yes.
Oh, we outside.
Yes.
Yep, we outside, y'all. Make sure y'all, when y'all pull up to Dykeman, make sure y'all take a picture in front of the banner, please.
Which one?
Good question. All three.
I asked
respectfully.
Jim Jones and Fab shot a video there. I DM'd Jim. I'm like, how's the banner looking? He's like, very rich, looking like money.
Yeah.
We hooping in London?
Of course.
Oh, come on. Let's get ready.
Of course. Oh, I'm very interested in being in the NBA All-Star game this year.
Celebrity game.
NBA Celebrity All-Star game.
Yeah.
And I'm also very interested in attending the Met Gala.
They only give a +1 to that. So
yeah,
we will be at a few galas this year.
Well, I'm expressing that interest openly because I know there's a lot of people watch this show.
Let's make it happen. They're gonna make it happen for us.
I feel like the All-Star game, that should be pretty easy.
They got a bunch of people.
Random.
You can't even play ball.
Random people.
The most random. This year was the most.
The MVP was the dude from Peloton, right?
Shout out, that's my man.
But I mean,
he's nice.
No
though.
disrespect, but I'm just saying.
It's the last MVP that company gonna get.
So I'm very
Shots
interested.
fired.
I'm very interested.
Oh, Google coming to kill their business. I don't mean to cut you off. Did you see that they're adding that to their subscription to be able to work out at home on Google?
Damn.
Slow singing and flower burning. Over with. Go ahead.
But anybody in the NBA or can make that happen,
please. Where's the
All-Star game at?
It might be some random place like Charlotte or something. It might be in Charlotte.
It might be in LA.
Nah, we just
if it's LA, boy, I'm gonna park up for 2 weeks.
Let's see.
I won't embarrass the situation either. I promise you. I will have a very strong showing.
You better not let Quavo lock you up. We ain't having that.
No.
You gotta get that corner three popping.
No.
A couple of slip screens real quick.
It's in Utah, bro.
It's in Utah?
Yeah.
Won't be going.
I have to skip on that one.
Next year. Gotta call Mitt Romney or something.
Damn, Utah?
Yeah.
No,
no.
Maybe if Donovan's gonna be out there.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, hometown.
But let's do that. Let's work on that, and let's work on the Met Gala. That might be a little harder, but why not?
We know some people.
Yeah.
We're on a gala tour. We're gonna be in a few galas. I wish I could say more, but
that's why I'm like, if we're gonna tease.
Nah, we'll be at a few galas, and the Met. We'll put that on the list.
Anna Wintour, please reply to my DMs. Mason Bethel, please reply to my DMs.
I'm starting my training. I will be, like I said, if I get to go to the All-Star, I'm not going to embarrass myself, and I won't embarrass the EYL community. I will have a very strong showing. I will be in tip-top shape, and I will be competing for MVP. Me and Quavo.
Yeah, well, he
had like three. He had like 3 MVPs.
Yeah, they gave Kevin Hart 2. He didn't even play well.
That was a joke though. But Quavo is actually good. He actually can play.
So we going for MVP.
Matty J and them be playing with Quavo in Atlanta.
Matty J puts up clips of himself doing moves.
Hey, Corey from Support Black College.
Like, who's taping that?
Corey narrates.
Yo, here comes my shot. Oh,
well played.
Water.
Diversification of content.
He could have hit one shot. That's all that matters. Shout out to Corey though.
Ben X is good too.
Is it play? But he really can.
No, he really plays.
Yeah, he really plays.
There's a few people on social media that I follow that I'm like, all right,
they can play.
Yeah.
So MVP.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Possibly.
Once again, put out in the
flying for the day. Like we flying Friday, get out of this set. No, the game is Friday.
No, Utah.
Oh, man. That's the only thing to do.
Anything can happen.
A lot of bad.
A lot of bad can happen.
Okay. Carmelo gonna pick up them phone calls. Donovan gonna be out of there soon.
He's still there. He's still there. Hometown.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Been real. We'll holler at you. See you on the other side.
Yeah. Happy Nip Day again.
Yes.
Rest in peace to Nip the Great.
Check out our episode tomorrow, 8:00. Very high level fashion conversation, entrepreneurship.
An amazing story too.
Overcoming adversity. Very important conversation.
Dope.
All right, y'all.
All right, yo.
Y'all have a good night.
Be good. Ian,
I'll see y'all soon.
Kanye West, call me. Please.
Zuckerberg, please unlock my IG. I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks. Unlock me before then, please. Thank you.
We gotta talk to the folks at Meta. B, what's going on, man? Come on, B. Get it together.
Kanye, I saw that mask. Call me.
The phone runner mask?
Yes.
I gotta see. We
gotta have an honest conversation about Kanye, but we're gonna wait. I ain't gonna ruin that relationship.
No, that's our brother.
TV timeout.
Call me.
You know, Kim single again.
I have nothing to do with that. But Kanye.
TV timeout. 20-second violation. He had never. What are we doing?
No, I'm just saying, like maybe they could not for you. I'm just saying they could rekindle.
Kanye,
They have to.
Perhaps, right? We live next door.
Kanye, let's do lunch, man. I got some ideas.
Yeah.
You have to get Kimberly back. He'll be in investments every year.
Right, a happier place, man. Let's make it happen.
Sometimes the solution that you need is not the business one; it's the personal one.